Good evening, citizens. My name is Ban Shattersong, former captain of the Bloody Hands Mercenary Company, and today I have a very special guest and a very special format. But first of all, to introduce said person, the one, the only, the amazing Larkin Shattersong
In the flesh
in the
or in the
flesh.
voice.
It's something Ban no longer has.
Living,
Rip.
exactly. I'm a living Shattersong, a rare example these days.
A rarer and rarer beast every summit we go to.
It's true.
Yeah. And look, so first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. Um,
My pleasure.
to you lot listening at home, uh, so Larkin and I, or Matty and I, Matty, your OC name, apologies if I've outed you
Yes.
to the world, but the FBI are
Oh
coming
my
for you now.
god.
You've got
Oh
seconds to
no.
run.
I've been doxxed.
um, we pretty often, well, not anymore actually, because of the whole moving up to Warwick thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
we would drive up to LARP for like probably about 2 years back to back. Every this is pre-COVID, of
Yeah.
course, but every
Most
single
of
summit.
my first, yeah. I'd say most of the first year, some of the second year, definitely. It was a good solid amount of times we would go there and back.
Yeah, it was a really nice little road trip. And what we would do each time is we got this little pattern going of how to essentially destroy the journey home by doing a review process. It went by in a flash of an eye, and that's kind of what we're going to do now since we haven't had the opportunity to do it from E3. And E3 was kind of a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. Just a
Just,
bit.
just a bit. Awesome.
Maybe bigger for me than for you. I think E2 was probably your big one, but still.
I think it was big in a different way. I'll get onto it into more detail later, but fundamentally, I'm playing a good character, and I actually had a really good time. So that's kind of
We
big,
knew
but
it could be done. We knew it could be done. And you proved to the world that anytime you play Ban Shatter Song, like it is a deliberate choice, so you're never going to get away with it again. You do realize that now.
I I don't know, never say never, right? That was band's motto. But anyway,
You made
the format of today's episode is five. It's based on five categories, and we essentially score them out of 10. And you say, "Oh no, how was your weekend?" I think the first conversation was, "How was the event?" Out of 10, go, and we were like, "Go," 9, 10, But then we started to think, how do we quantify those results? And
yeah, how do
broadly,
we break it down a bit more?
yeah, and broadly, how do we get essentially, if we have 10 bullet points on it, you get 10 out of 10, for example. And we found that that expanded into a pretty cool format where we got
Well,
into a
the
decent amount of
bullet points
detail.
was your thing, but yes, it's a easy framework for looking back and decompressing about things. And the way that we split it, I think, works really nicely to like separate some of those niggles that might have happened, perhaps icy, and get them back to being like, did you enjoy it, OC? Like, it helps to reorientate your perspective on how the weekend went. Because sometimes bad things happen, but actually they're good role play,
Mm. Oh yes, yeah. Don't you
which
lose your head over
E2.
it? Yeah.
I'll just before we even go any further, I'm sure it. I mean, I've spoken to you about this a lot, but E2 was probably the first time I've cried at LARP, thanks to your damn death, and that was a moment. It was a horrible, horrible moment, but it was also a fantastic, memorable moment I'll never forget. So there you go. Damn you, Band Shatter Song, for making me feel things.
Yeah, that guy, that renowned cretin.
What a guy.
Oh yeah,
Not
what a
very
guy.
legendary.
Nah. Alrighty
His
then.
name's gonna live forever.
It is actually. I'm gonna do a like my own Hots and Knots episode at some point, just like Walk the Longest Path Part 2. But
Oh yeah, the old chestnut.
yeah, that. But yeah, I'll cover it on that episode. But for
Mhm.
today, the five categories are going to be kit and camping. This covers things like our armor, soft kit, camping setup, tents, how dry we stayed. It's basically a lot of I want to say like almost like IC and OC field logistics. Like,
Yeah,
did you
hard work.
have marshmallows, for example, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all the things that you can change before coming, sort of thing.
Yeah.
The physical stuff that you bring with you.
Category two is combat, and this is as our heroes, essentially on skirmishes and on the field as well. If we end up in an orc fighting pit at some point, I imagine it would end up in this category, but that hasn't happened yet.
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 I'm pretty sure it was mentioned at one point, but I can't remember the context of that. One day we'll end up in the orc pit. And you don't want to include monster in this category this time.
Correct, yeah, that's going to be category three, is monstering, because now we're playing as Yagara. Some of the RP is actually really awesome because you can put 100% of your energy into playing that character instead of 80%, with the remaining 20 trying not to gag, vomit, or pass out inside a head condom.
Oh, you're making me miss it now. I've officially swapped teams and jumped into the black and yellow. And now I'm sad. I had a
Right,
great time as Yukara at E2, but no. Sometimes life takes us different ways, doesn't it?
it does. And you know what? Until you told me, like about a minute before this recording began, I actually didn't know about that. So I need to
You
work.
didn't know?
No, I had no idea.
Of course you did. I must have told you it like 1,000
I've
times.
not been listening. I really haven't. It's
Did you not
genuinely. I
see
put
me
it in
on
my
the map?
notes. It's genuinely surprised me with a question mark next to it. So you're a battle ref now.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. More on that later then, dear listeners.
Oh God. Well done.
Category four.
Really strong there.
Category
Moving.
four is going to be non-combat roleplay. So it covers pretty much everything we did in Anvil over the weekend. It's probably the bigger category, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's basically your IC experience. How as your character, how did you fare? Goals and what happened? What did you end up doing? Which distinguishes it a bit from the next category,
Which is
which was
overall OC.
yeah. So also, I was thinking just as an addendum. I know I'm adding things on here, Chris. I'm so sorry. Um, I'm not, but OC have a category OC in terms of how you looked after yourself during the weekend, and then overall is your final summary of the weekend.
Gotcha.
So
So
I know you've put them
looking after
together.
ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, you have OC your experience during the weekend can be vastly different time and time again, and it can be vastly different from your IC experience. Sometimes you have things like I know a lot of people have had quite a lot of what would you call it conflict role play recently,
Mm.
and that can be amazing, but it's also really good to check in OC with how that was. Also, did you physically look after yourself? That's not easy, that kind of thing. Slightly halfway between the icy experience and the kitten camping, I suppose, in a way. And then yeah, overall, of course, to sum up how the actual weekend was.
Nice. So yeah,
Yeah,
kitchen camping is like the physical, the nuts and bolts part, and as opposed
your
the
hardware and
OC stuff is the
your
software. Ah, that's a
yeah,
bad.
no way. No, the programs,
Maybe. I'm
the
sure there's a
coding.
developer out there listening who is infuriated
Win-
with these analogies.
Sorry to all of the poor tech people that we know.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry, it's well known that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to tech.
Yeah. I mean, if you just pretend hard enough, it becomes real, right? Just like LARP.
Yeah, for sure. What you do in a weekend, that's the C++, isn't it?
Well, if you're
Don't
attentive,
mind
it's actually quite sharp. A C sharp, you could say. Nah,
me.
right, okay, right. We're on from
You're
this. It's
trying to
it's
offend
coiling out
me.
of control like a python. Right, that's right. We're done.
Oh, Chris.
I hate myself.
Stinger.
Yeah, ouch. Right, okay. Let's hit a different octave. Right. Category. That's
Love.
another one. Category one. Kitten camping. Go, Matty, go. I choose you.
Okay, kitten camping. This is kind of a weird one because I suppose overall for me, I'd give it a pretty high score, probably around. You know what? I'd actually give it like a 9.5. I reckon. But the weekend started with a very solid thumbs down because I managed to forget an entire bag of my kit with some pretty, important staples of kit, which was not fun. And I was a little bit concerned. But at least I kind of found out about that on, I think, very early Friday morning. So thanks to the timely intervention of a trip to Tesco's and the one shirt in the Tesco sales section that was like acceptable to wear for Empire, I had no issues the whole weekend. Also, the weather came through and kept me warm because otherwise, I think I would have really struggled
Oh
through the
yeah,
weekend.
it was hot.
Yeah, but thank goodness for that because I did not have enough layers otherwise. But yeah, the heat helped. But kit and camping, yeah, 9.5. I got so many compliments this time. I never have like, I mean, obviously people are kind about costume, and I've been pretty happy with my costume going on for the last couple of years. I mean, E2, I was really happy with my costume. Walk Along This Path as well was when I debuted some new bits of costume that I've just started feeling more and more comfortable in. But this time with a whole new set that I was kind of forced into, I got loads of like unsolicited compliments, which was really, really cool. I mean, obviously it's nice to be complimented, but it was extra nice because no one realized that these are essentially just pieces that I'd happened to bring along on a whim that I was going to have to be in for the rest of the weekend.
Ah, were
Um,
they like
so
your reserve pieces?
Well, they weren't even reserved. They were just pieces that I'd picked up as like, oh, haha, maybe I'll wear those just for fun, you know. But they were. I mean, I had the top that I had on was like more of a piece that I was thinking maybe one day I'll wear it once I'm like bold enough, I suppose, or I really need to. But in the end, I had to wear it for the whole weekend, and it got me a lot of compliments. So I was really pleased. And one of the best compliments I got was that I looked very Navarre,
Hey,
which
nice,
is obviously a really lovely thing to hear. You know, when you've got bits of kit on that you're
fantastic.
sticking to. Yeah,
What
and
I'm
camping.
intrigued. What were those pieces of kit? And we don't have the luxury of any kind of photos here, so you have to use your best words to describe this outfit.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, what I normally wear is a sleeveless top over trousers, and then I have these long woolen like thigh high socks that are kind of like leg warmers that work really well to keep me warm or keep me cool and go under greaves and things. And what I forgot was that basically all of that. Um, Luckily, I had instead these sort of, I guess they're like harem pants, but they only come to just below the knee. I just recently dyed those, so they were a really lovely color, and they were really nice and baggy and comfy. Um, what else? Yeah, the top was this. It's actually, I'm gonna really have to admit something here. It's basically, it's just a top. I bought it in a shop. It's actually just sort of a lace kind of overlayer to wear over like a swimming costume at the beach. So it's
Oh,
amazing that
that
it looks
one.
how it looks.
Oh
Yeah,
God,
that one.
wow. Okay, damn.
Yeah, no. And I spotted it in the shop just on like pure accident a few days before I came back for E3. And I thought, oh, that looks really cool as a really good like summer layer. Having heard, of course, it was going to be really hot. I was thinking, great, it's something that might cover my arms a little bit. It's perfect color. It's got no like modern fittings on it or anything. It's kind of got a lace pattern, and it was all sort of plants and leaves, so it looked fantastic and it did me a solid. I mean, all of the little ties, it has like strings to tie onto your shoulders and things, and they all came out over the weekend. Like it's terribly made. Definitely was not worth the price that I paid for it in terms of the fabrication of it, but it worked really well. I was so happy with it, and it was a really easy light layer to just put on top of everything if I needed to.
Hmm.
And that was the thing that I got the most compliments on. The other thing that I did that for me I'm very happy about is I've had this like tabard layer that it was actually, we went charity shopping ages ago and I picked it up in one of those charity shops. It was that kind of khaki green coat with this like, it looks like very stylized leaf embroidery on
Oh, the
it.
one in Twickenham.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
damn. I love that coat. I think it looks really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, wait, no, not the one that you have that I didn't bring. There's the autumn leaves one that's kind of brown and gold colors.
Hmm.
That's one I need to debut at E4. Gosh, I almost forgot which E we were talking about. I need to debut that at E4 because I also forgot that. Um,
Ah.
so that was also on my list of things that I forgot to bring. But yeah, no, yeah, no, it's a different one. But I dyed it, or rather, I asked our lovely friend Martin to dye it for me, and it came out this beautiful, rich, dark green color which wearing over my chainmail, because I wear it over my chainmail as a sort of dulling down the chainmail look and having something a bit more noticeably me on the battlefield. I'm hoping that I might be in the background of a couple of shots just so I can see what it looks like with the new dark color. But it
Hmm.
was really nice. I felt like I sort of classed up a little bit from the sort of muddy brown color that I was wearing a lot of, which is perfectly on brief and everything, but I didn't feel particularly nice in it
Yeah.
to all these lovely sort of slightly richer dark green colors. And it was great because being the event that it was very aware of how visible I was going to be all the time. I
Mm.
didn't want to look like crap. So it was nice not to look like crap, basically.
Like
So
get
that
a
was,
get a Hessian sack, cut out some armholes, and
yeah.
look like a wretch at the entrance to Navarre with a maybe a
Yeah.
mug to beg.
And in the same event that we had the Navarre fashion show going on, can you imagine? Like,
Oh,
oh
very
dear.
much so. I think bag swag will look great in a year's time. No one's
Bags.
brave no one's brave enough to
All your
accept it
favorite
yet.
military fighters are wearing it now.
Yep.
Blend in with the foliage. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, we'll get to armor and stuff when we go into combat as well, and weaponry and whatnot. But camping wise, also very very good. I got to borrow a 4 meter tent this time instead of a 3 meter because there was a slight mishap with my 3 meter at the end of the last event
Would you like
where
to call someone out for it? I think you should.
I don't know if I should do that on your podcast. That feels
I
mean.
greenlight this ripping. Excuse the pun, but
So I share a 3 meter tent with another member of the Black Scar, Jocko, aka Keelan, who, when packing down our tent, managed to stick the point of the A-frame straight through the roof of the canvas. And in trying to move away from the canvas to stop ripping it, genuinely, like an actual comedy routine, ripped probably a 30 centimeter rip in the top of the canvas. Every time he moved, it just ripped more and more. I mean, I was gutted, but at the same time, it was so funny. It could not have been more perfectly amusing. But yeah, so our tent was a bit out of commission. But luckily, we had friends with spare tents. It's always pays to have friends with spare tents. And having a
mm.
4 meter that you could stand up in
Oh, it's lovely,
to
isn't it?
get changed. Oh my word. Like the difference that made. Never going back. Never ever going back. The 3 meters dead to me now. 4 meters all the way. Also, I mean, from a camping point of view, things are getting busier and busier in terms of camp planning. And we're not a
Yeah.
small
Oh,
group. So having the two of us in a 4 meter and then having the option that if someone got stuck, we would have space to stick an extra person in is definitely a smarter choice than bringing a 3 meter and not having the space for an extra person.
mm.
So these are the things that your resident friendly camp planner. I'm not one of the Navarre camp planners, I should point out. I only to sort of informally look after our group because there's quite a lot of us. But that's the sort of thing I think about when it comes to tents.
Yeah, you passed the test of counting to I don't know, something like whatever 4 times 5 is. I don't know, so that's why you're in
More
charge.
people fit in big tents.
Yeah,
Amazing.
we could just get one big piece of canvas and just cover that entire area.
Tent city. We should definitely make a tent city. Can you imagine like a maze of all of our tents?
Yes,
That would be really
it
cool.
already is a maze at night.
Yeah, even more so.
Oh, I don't
Where
know.
they all just connect to each other. Like
I
you
d
know that when you were a
Oh
kid and you used to
gosh.
have different
Yeah.
tents and you'd put those like circle like tubes between them
Yes.
to crawl through them. I reckon we should do that.
Right. I 100% agree. I need to
Sneak
talk
peek
to you.
into the E4 camp planning for Black Scar.
I need to talk to you about an idea we had in our Discord about basically we need to have a fake manhole cover, but we'll cover that later
Oh,
on.
I saw that. Yeah,
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 that I think
yeah.
that
I'm on
that
it
could
as
be
well.
incredible.
For reasons nobody listening to this is allowed to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, nothing illegal is going on. And I can say that and I mean it now. I'm not involved.
You do. It's not, but it's also not illegal. We're just talking shenanigans and
Yeah.
tense.
Mm.
But yeah, you, kitten camping. Oh,
You,
a
me.
final thing was, the makeup continues to be good. The new
Oh,
Black
yes.
Scar is really good. Although I think I definitely need some more on my face because I noticed in some pictures that my hair is covering the few tattoos I have.
God, imagine having
So I'd
hair.
like to. Could not be you. Sucks to be you.
It does. It does. But only
It
sometimes.
doesn't. You love not having hair.
Yeah, it's actually pretty great. Yeah, not gonna lie. Any of you listening out there are, uh, I don't know. How do I phrase this?
Clinging to
It's
the
not.
vestiges.
It's not like
Oh, not
it's not
this.
like it's not like going bald surprised me. It was a long time coming, and I would fully recommend you just dive in, and it is so much better. Go full
Are we
Walter
allowed to
White from
talk
Breaking
about what
Bad.
happened to the hairpiece?
Oh my goodness, yeah. I'll talk. All right, okay.
It is part of Kit,
It is
after
part
all.
of Kit. All right, okay. All right. I suppose
All right.
I've outed Keenan. It's time to out myself, right? So, Kit and camping. Small bit of history here. So when I was slowly going bald, my hair was starting to fall out for a variety of reasons. Um, I took the mature route of going denial, 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 and I was one of those people who went and got a hairpiece. Technically, it's called a hair system. I don't know how it's a system
What?
because it's literally French lace with fake people's hair, and they shave like the top of your head, they stick it on, and they comb it into like the sideburns that are still there and everything. And the overall effect was okay to good, but maintenance was ridiculous. It lasted 6 months,
It was
and
the wrong color.
it had some issues.
It's the wrong color.
They said,
Yeah.
"Oh, it'll lighten up," and it came jet black, and I was blonde originally, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And so yeah, there was dyes involved, and yeah, it was all right, but it wasn't great. So of
Mm,
course I took the I'm going to use my own personal opinion here, mature step to just accept what is going on and shaved everything off, and I've
mhm.
been pretty damn happy ever since. It must be said. The number of people who said I have the head for it is uncanny. It's the same words every time. So I don't know
Should
if
start sharpening.
everyone's just being nice, or they've all had a meeting and gone, look, it looks terrible, but we need to
We
we need
need
to
to tell him his
align on
head.
the messaging. Anyway, I had a leftover wig, and that was then super glued to the top of my orc mask. So my orc has a really nice set of hair on it, a really really fancy set.
It lives on.
It does live on quite fantastically. But anyway, kit history aside, the orc mask has long had hair. It's been like what years since I went full bald. But that's the tale. But let's go into kit and camping. The first thing, I guess it's mainly around camping, is that I got a new tent this summit, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Picked it up from another player on the field, and in my brain I thought it was a 4 meter. However, it's got the A-frame of a 3 meter, the pole of what feels like a 4, but the floor space of a 5. Now, I haven't taken actual measurements, but it just feels an oddly proportioned tent. But from the size of
Yeah,
it,
we couldn't figure it out.
it's a 5 meter, but maybe with like steeper walls, sorry, shallower walls. I just it it felt odd, but in the best way. It's a really cool, unique tent. And before I used to share with one of our mates called Ben. We sort of bought a tent together, and for a variety of reasons, I'd let my own, and it makes things easier logistically as well, so we don't have to split the storage and the maintenance and all of that stuff. So yeah, I went and got one, and it was super cool. No leaks, comfy, very happy with it. The reason that's important is that we also had a couple. I'd say one totally new player were actually inspired sort of the episode last week around bringing new people to Anvil, called Cairn in game. Totally new to the hobby. he obviously stayed with me. I lent him a lot of kit and armor, and he had an awesome time. He's coming back with another one of his friends for E4, so big success. That was
Oh,
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. We also had a couple of our other friends who have been to LARP before. One used to be a regular, but has just come back for just I think for a one-off, or might be attending on the regular again. Not sure. And the other one, it was
Mm.
her birthday, so she decided she wanted to come. She'd been,
What better place to spend your birthday?
oh, it's awesome, like Anvil birthday, mwah. But yeah, she had plays a character called Tara. Tara had been years ago for one event and just hadn't come back for a variety of reasons. And then stopped by again, and it was lovely to see her again. And with my old tent, um, that's now gone to another member of Black Scar, the half I had, and another mate of ours called Aaron, plays a character called Aaron, would essentially gave his tent up for our other two friends coming. Then he stayed in my new tent with me and Steve.
No,
And as you can see from this elongated
he doesn't.
explanation, there was a lot of logistics that went on, and it worked out. So it was a good thing, I guess.
He plays Damon.
Who's
His
Damon?
play.
Oh, sorry. Oh, he
Yes,
died, didn't he?
his
Yeah.
name is Aaron.
Right, he used to play. He used to play a character called Aaron.
Aaron?
So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Sorry.
makes more.
Yeah, he's.
I can hear you speeding up. Like, don't call me out on this one. Yeah.
Aaron doesn't listen. It's fine. But yeah, Aaron played Aaron, and then Damon or Damon now. I'm not even sure.
Damon.
I don't even know the guy's name. I don't even know Tiki's new name. Like, I didn't even know you were a battle ref, so I have no idea. Did
Actually, it was
did I even go
interesting.
to E3? Was
I
I
mean,
there?
you did, but what I was gonna say is you didn't spend as much time with us as normal, for obvious reasons.
Oh,
But like
not obvious just
notably,
yet, but yeah,
I think
I slunk off
fairly
and had a
obvious,
great time.
considering everyone knows why
Oh.
your Facebook name has changed.
um, we'll get onto that in uh non-combat
Oh,
roleplay,
one
I think.
second.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short,
We can put do non-combat roleplay next. Go on, we'll
oh
treat him.
bugger, oh bugger. All right.
We'll
Anyway, finish off kit and camping. I'm gonna give it an 8. I had to. There were a few other people who didn't camp directly with us. One of Gwendolyn's mates came along. I helped like armor and arm her up. So it was a bit stressful at times actually, to be honest, because making
Mhm.
sure that many people have actually got the kit to take part and have a good time, it's a responsibility. And yeah,
It's the yeah
trying to balance it
downside
with
of
your own
having
kit.
friends.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a double-edged sword, but overall it was pretty fun. Um, the next bit on
How
my
did you
list,
find how did you find your new kit for Linda?
so it's not necessarily
What's
new.
the
I'm just not
experience
wearing armor anymore.
There are definitely shots of you with your armor when you went on your skirmish.
Oh, rats! You've hit one of my kit and camping points. You sunk my battleship, Matty.
Hey.
So yeah, what happened is I went down to Dash Shop. Top tip for listeners: go down there and just see what random stuff has appeared, because it's always unique. And what I found this time round was an aluminium riveted chain skirt and aluminium riveted chainmail arms, but there's no chest piece to the arms. It's just a piece of cloth, so it covers from the top of your shoulder down to sort of halfway of your forearm. And
So essentially just sleeves.
yeah, basically a set of chainmail sleeves, and it's awesome. Like I've got steel chainmail for my body. It's heavy, but it's fine, right? But I never realized just how light aluminium is. My goodness, what an improvement in like
Really?
mobility and energy. I absolutely loved it. And then the leather chest piece you saw me wearing, that's something I made myself at Christmas this year. But I haven't really had much of an opportunity to wear it. I did wear it as ban for one battle, but I don't think it showed up since then because I've been using my chain. But yeah,
And you're going, so you've been going much less heavily armored to battles.
yeah. I mean, Ban met his end before he actually took the field on the Saturday, so he only wore it once. But yeah, aluminium chain, it's pretty cool. So that was a great bit of kit. That was like a solid 4 points for me. I just loved it. Mwah. And then the final point, makeup kit. You mentioned it.
Hmm.
It's always been a personal weakness of mine is face paint, being able to do it myself and being able to do it to a good quality. And maybe I should add to the makeup kit like a special effects kit as well.
Yeah.
Because this time I had snaz, alcohol activated paints, face like setting, so sort of like hairspray, setting spray, that kind of stuff. I had a load of fake blood capsules that got used
Oh
all across the
yeah.
weekend. A bottle of spray on fake blood as well, and a fake heart for one of the Winds of Fortune, which I might I'll leave it to the end maybe, but it wasn't a major
How
part.
did you find the alcohol activated face paint? I've always been curious about that.
Mixed opinion. So the colors were okay, but black had the best coverage, understandably.
Mhm.
And
How did you use it?
you have like a normal art palette. It's almost like oil-based paints, and you get a
Yeah.
little bottle of this alcohol activator. It's basically like 95% ethanol.
Yeah.
You put a bit on a brush, wiggle it around, get some paint on, then you paint it on your face and it dries. And the idea is
Hmm.
that it's water insoluble, so you won't sweat it off. And rubbing it off takes a
Mm.
decent amount of work. However, you need to do a couple layers to get it thick, consistent, and
Yeah.
also make
Okay.
it rub proof. Because I did one layer one
Right.
day, rubbed it, and I'd actually managed to rub it off.
Okay.
Yeah, and it
But
takes
still
a
worth
little.
it in the long run because I know you've had issues in the past because you're a sweaty boy
Wow.
with
I
running
mean,
off.
yeah, I am. I do like running. Um,
You're just too
yes,
active.
honestly, is it worth it compared to snaz and setting spray? 50-50. It takes a lot of time to
Okay.
activate, get on, apply. It doesn't flow like a water-based paint
Hmm.
does,
Hmm.
so it's actually a little quite hard to control. And for doing
What
it
about
yourself, difficult.
yeah? What about price?
Yeah,
About the same?
price about
Or is
50
it
quid
expensive?
for the set with the activator. Yeah, it's
What?
pricey. It's pricey.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, from the outside, it's slightly less than 50-50 to me, but maybe you're using it wrong. Maybe there's some makeup artist out there going, "No, you don't do it like that. It's so much easier than you think."
Yeah, I managed to get some on my face. I say some, I got good coverage. Like when I timed in, that was all alcohol.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
it lasted the day, and then after sort of rolling in my sleep like a pig, I had to reapply it in the morning. But what I did on the Saturday is I was in a rush, so I did snaz and fixer, and that lasted all day as well. Rubbed off overnight, and then I fixed it up in the morning on Sunday. So when you look at both of those had one day's worth of play, I might as well stick with the snaz.
Yeah. And just reapply it.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair. I suppose if it's for something like that's supposed to be a tattoo or a scar versus something that's supposed to be more war paint, like maybe it would make a difference if you know that it's gonna get rubbed a lot or and just thinking like because I've got small tattoos on my face which could stand to be done in a way that means that they don't go anywhere. But then war paint can just be a good red snaz kind of thing.
yeah, nice little combat stripe.
Yeah.
A lot of
Love
fun to
that
do.
combat stripe.
Yeah,
That was from Walk Long's Path that started.
it was. Yeah, I've added black to my repertoire now.
Ay.
So yeah,
Gotta love that snaz combo, the red and black. I think that keeps most of Navarre supplied is just red and black snaz.
yeah, I've actually got blue, yellow, and green. I think you saw my bruises that I did as well.
Oh yeah, you did trick me with those actually.
Yeah, yeah, I can do pretty convincing bruises now. So for whatever use that might well, come into, we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's overall 8 out of 10 for kissing camping. Lots of cool new stuff and new friends, but balanced out with having to look after them. So not hard, but something you have to think about. So yeah,
Yeah,
8 out of 10.
still to be improved upon, as
Hmm.
always.
All right then. Non-combat role-playing, Matty.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, we got to do it before we go into combat.
Yeah,
There was so
absolutely.
much that happened before we got anywhere near combat.
Oh well, I don't know. We got near combat at standing, I think, but
Well,
Go for it.
yeah, fair. No, that's a really good point. I can't really talk to that because I genuinely have no idea what happened until, probably about 7:30 onwards, because I was so deep inside my own head about, in case anyone listening does not know who I am. God, that sounded so
Do you know who
pretentious.
I am?
Of course you don't know who I am, but you should. Of course you do. um, no, hello, I'm Matty. I never said hi. I play Larkin Shattersong, and at E3, I was elected the new general of Izella's Dance, which is the newest, the third army of Navarre. So that was very, very cool. I don't know. Am I allowed to swear in this? I'm trying not to swear. I just
No,
realized I
actively.
do
Yeah,
this in
this is not
public
Channel 4.
speaking. Right. It was very fucking cool. It was amazing. It was the culmination of a lot of work, which is, I know what everyone says when they get elected, but it's been something that's been on my radar since before, the longest of darks. So it was really nice to have it pay off. But we had a little bit of a soft title. Honestly, we got off to such a good start because as a little group, as you may know, I can't believe I keep saying that. But our characters, or your character not so much now, but your previous character, Ban Shattersong, the Shattersongs, as a striding, were part of the Black Scar Thornborn. We still are. And as a little group, Thornborn decided to do some combat practice before time in, which was opened by a game of tag, of all things, which was absolutely brilliant and such a nice way to start off what was about to be an incredibly contentious, conflict-heavy next 2 hours. So that was great. We started on a high, and then I immediately got incredibly nervous. Not nervous for the event itself. I wasn't even necessarily nervous in a kind of going to an interview kind of way. It was more just sort of, let's call it anticipation mixed with apprehension, all the what ifs. And I was walking around probably the whole time during standing and for a good part of the opening of Thorns Council afterwards, just thinking about what I was going to say as my speech, which, spoiler alert, went really well in the end. But
You'd
yeah,
hope
at
so
standing, everyone
after.
started shouting.
Yeah, you'd hope so
Yeah,
after
after
being
2 hours.
elected.
Yeah. No, the speech was before the election, dude.
I mean, in general, if sorry, I can't
In
use in
general.
general. In practice, if the speech was really bad, like, you know what, you tried, you're in.
It's a pity. Pity election. Oh, it was so bad, but they looked terrible, so it's fine. No, but standing was an exciting start. I don't think I'd realized how contentious the whole Hot as Maya thing was going to be.
Oh boy, oh yeah.
Yeah. So cliff notes, because I'm sure it's been gone into many a time before, including in the field, which is probably at this point where it
Should
deserves to
stay. Yeah.
die a painful death. But yeah, Hot as Maya, there was a downtime option for military units to go to Liathaven, to Hot as Maya. Simultaneously, there were player actions in field at the very end of the last event to send a letter to some other NPCs in the area, warning them that they were coming, that we were coming to attack a different enemy. The outcome of this was that apparently diplomacy is incredibly effective sometimes.
No.
And
Really?
yeah, I know.
Empire
I know.
LARP? The PvP political LARP? Politics being effective? Wow.
No, but I mean, so much of the time we do downtime actions and we do diplomatic actions in order to generate combat opportunities to make a difference in the outcome, right? It almost always comes down to combat. So certainly from my player perspective, I thought it was really nice and really cool of PD to make the diplomacy the thing that won the day and have that actually be the outcome. Like, diplomacy is a win game of itself. You don't have to just do it to generate more opportunities to hit things, kind of.
Yeah.
Because we do combat a lot and it is a very combat heavy system, and that is fantastic. But it was also nice that it gave some weight to the diplomacy game as well. So yeah, there was some diplomatic actions that were so wildly successful that in the Wind of Fortune about it, it specifically stated in the flavor text that what could have been a conjunction, i.e., a skirmish, uh, was somehow disappeared because of this action, because the diplomatic missive that was sent triggered so much of a response in the Feni, who it was sent to, these NPCs, that it just changed the course of how things went. And we didn't have to fight. The outcome was so successful, like blindingly successful, which is amazing because, I mean, yeah, it's slightly for the in the field, but tidbit, we were pretty concerned at the end of E2 that the numbers were not there for various reasons that come and ask me about in the field if you really want to know. So yeah, it was delightful. I was very, very pleased. So from my perspective, I think I was so happy that I was really surprised by how vitriolic it got in that standing circle.
Yeah, I've
It
never
got
seen Travid
aggressive.
raise his voice, let alone
My
hit something with
God.
his book. I was
Exactly.
terrified.
It was intense, and I know quite a lot of the people, both IC and OC now, who were very loud, angry voices. So I was running around the back of that circle as well, telling people off pretty intensely. Just little me running up to people, going, "Don't do this. Watch it. You don't know everything. Shut up." Some of them did, so that's always nice. And from there, we transitioned pretty quickly into Thorns Council because it was, what was on everyone's minds. Thorns Council, which I'm sure you've mentioned before, so I don't think we have to clarify what it is. But sorry, I completely forgot. My overall ICRP is obviously going to be like an 11 out of 10. I had a great time. It was fantastic. No further comments, Yona. Brilliant. But to get
Objection,
back
hearsay.
into it's all hearsay. That's the whole point. But no, we went to Thorns Council. They had another big meeting about Hotter's Maya. At which point I actually ran to the toilet at exactly the point that Clay got cursed. I didn't know he'd been cursed
Oh, yeah.
until much later on. And someone said like, "Oh, it's because of the curse." I was like, "What curse? What are you talking about?" Because yeah, silly me, I ran to the loo just as things kicked off. And then we had all the questions. I think I definitely bitched at a few people for asking stupid questions and making stupid points. Definitely got my frowny scoldy face on because everyone was being a bit icy. Everyone was being stupid about what they were saying.
Mhm.
OC, it was great. It's fantastic. It's really good to see people coming up with like really intricate, like eloquent ways of talking, and not even necessarily always like fancy words, but people who are like, I know what I think and I know why I think that from a character perspective, and that's what I'm gonna argue for. And that's how the game works. Everyone's got to have their reason for doing something. We might not all agree, we might not ever agree on some things,
Oh,
but
it's the point of the game.
having those debates is amazing. And that's why the wheels keep turning. And that's why some people go in, some people go out, and unfortunately, obviously, we lost Clay as the Blackthorns general.
Mm.
And I don't know, I don't really know how. I just ran straight over to him because I was like, oh my gosh,
I
you
heard some
know
scream. I heard him screaming like,
oh yes,
not
we ran
OC, like
across.
IC screaming,
Yeah,
out the
we ran
back as
across,
the other
and
election
he
started.
had well, it was slightly before, so everyone was kind of like wandering around. I ran across, and Lothlin, one of the other members of Black Scar, who's actually the current Brand of Brands leader of Black Scar, had this just dead stony look on his face, and I can't even remember exactly what he said because everything was just so intense in the moment. But he held up his spear, and Clay just started hitting it and screaming this horrible like yell. It was heartfelt. It was intense. It really was. I was like a little bit afraid to go close, but it was very impressive. And then I got dragged back across for my own election, of course, while I was like, my head is going back and forward. Someone's like, Larkin, you need to go across. And I was like, what? Oh, yeah. And then it turned out that there were only two of us running for Izella's dance in the end. which was unexpected. We thought there would be like 4, and then possibly any stragglers. But I think in the wake of everything that had happened, you know, it was a wild one. And then my election. I mean, I could go into the details, but just to sum up and say, huge shout out to Matt, who plays Quinn, who did a fantastic job. He's always done a fantastic job. Great dude. Had a great time role playing. Very competent leader. Would have been a very good general as well. Like on an OC note, I can say that.
Oh
It
yeah,
feels
he's a
facetious,
major
but
part of my
yeah,
weekend as well, but I'll leave that for later.
yeah. I mean, truly, genuinely on an OC note, definitely knows what he's doing. He would have been great. But also very gracious when I won, which was very appreciated because it's not easy because there is a lot of OC work that goes into and OC wanting the thing that goes into running for one of these, like running for general, running for any hat really. But this was a big one. It had been hyped up for a long time, so it was always going to be a disappointment to whoever didn't win, basically. And I'd sort of prepared myself for like I had plans for what I was going to do if I didn't win. I didn't really have plans. I think I said this to you quite early on during the weekend. I said I don't really have any plans for what I do if I do win.
Oh
And
yeah, I
what
remember
then?
that.
Yeah, I was suddenly going. I haven't really thought about it. Um, but obviously, in the end, it turned out fine. Speech went really well. I was really pleased with how my speech went in the end. Everyone seemed really engaged. The questions were good. I felt good answering them. I mean, like I said in the speech, like I said in all the questions, in terms of the character, I've been preparing for this for, probably a year now. In terms of me as Matty, if you go back to when this first started, that was what, 2 years ago, I think now?
Yeah,
And all of the times,
2020.
I think it was 2019. The E4 2019 would have been the first time I was thinking about this, which was when we had the whole protect Liathavan, protect Hakinia and protect Tharunan situation, which was when I really sort of stepped forward into the military game in a big way. But yeah, every event since then, I've been obviously working towards this, done a lot of wiki researching as well, which isn't a requirement, I should add, but it definitely helps. Um, and as a quick little bit of info for anyone curious, so from my perspective, general, much like senator, is one of those hats that does require quite a lot of actual hard skill and knowledge. It's not as easy as I know there are synod positions that you can get into with like just quite a good grounded knowledge of the way or of the virtue that you are going to be having a position in.
Hmm.
But which are still obviously a lot of OC commitment. Like, don't get me wrong, all hats are OC commitment. Um, but when it comes to something like the generalships and this, I'm assuming senators, I don't know specifically, but there's a lot of mechanics that you have to learn because there's a lot of conversation that goes on about this thing and these enemies here and that it is very much something you can get into if you're interested, but I do highly recommend you going in through the military route, which would be trying to get into the military council, shadowing someone. Usually that would be as an adjutant. You can just ask if you want to come along. It's usually better
Matty, are
if
you
you
hiring?
find.
Are you
Am
hiring
I
on my
hiring?
podcast? Hang on, I've
I'm
realised
not.
what's happening
I'm
here.
not hiring. I'm. That's a conversation for the field. If anyone's interested, they'll know who I am anyway. But no, so it's something that it's not. And you know what I found out this time is that we're actually unique as a nation. All of the other nations,
Yeah, okay.
we're
Sorry,
special.
sorry. Elaborate. I thought we were all pretty unique from the character mats from the
No, I
wiki,
mean,
but
okay,
enlighten me.
yes. I mean, in terms of the generals. So the way
Yeah,
that we elect our generals is different from all of the other nations. There are other ways that other nations do elections that are slightly different. I know Dawn has a different way of doing it.
I think
But
they've got a tourney, don't they?
ultimately, yeah, I think so. And I think they're probably the closest to us from what I've heard. I might be wrong. There's still a lot of knowledge about the other nations I just don't have, like even this far in, because you just simply don't know. There's a lot to know about your own nation, let alone all the others on the field. But for us, So a lot of them, they do still have an interview with the senators, and it is ultimately the senators' decision who gets picked as general. Now, for us, we have the Thorns Council vote. And the Thorns Council vote is supposed to, on the surface of it, it influences the senator's decision. It's like, perhaps, say, you want to take a very contentious decision to leave a certain European institution, and you might make a poll about that. And then you will probably follow the instructions of like the voting sway of that poll.
Mm.
That's an odd allegory connection to make, but it is accurate.
How are
So
the
they take the
Netherlands nowadays?
advisement.
Out of idle and unrelated interest.
How's Europe? You mean? We
How
miss
dare
you. No,
you?
don't come back.
Please.
We'll leave that conversation point aside. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. So they obviously the Thorns vote, and then the senators make the decision based on that. But in practice, the Thorns vote and who the Thorns vote for gets in. It's basically unheard of for that to be that choice not to be followed by the senators, and that's for various reasons, both IC and OC. That mostly the senators themselves, and any of us gens will happily talk to you, but it's not really a conversation for now. It's a bit in depth for right now, but yeah. So it is possible to get in to do it. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of learning. It's not an easy thing to just jump in and do for the hell of it. Even though on the surface of it, in the way that we do the voting, it certainly seems like that's what's possible. But if you're curious, there are 3 generals now. That's 3 people that you can talk to
All of whom
come
can be
and get
deposed
involved.
as well.
Yeah, but that's every hat in Empire can
Oh
be
yeah, but there's always
invoked.
the knockout route. If Shadow
There is
Invisible
every
style,
lot.
go for it.
People like to
Chaos.
threaten this revocation. I haven't seen a revocation, not in Navarre, for a very long time. I know ever since I've been in there.
Oh,
Apparently, it's happened once.
I think yeah, the actual revocations are rare. I'm more thinking about if you're new and you want to
Threat
just have a
stop.
pop, just go and just stand. When they say, "Would anyone like to stand?" You just stand up and do it. Wing it.
Oh, I
You don't have to
see.
win.
No, you don't have to win. And
No.
a lot of people prefer to stand. I know there was at least one candidate who was standing for Blackthorns who was pretty much explicitly standing for the purpose of gaining traction for actually standing next year.
Perfect.
So
Great
his
strat.
real goal is to stand next year, I believe. But yeah, that's someone else's game, so I won't run into that.
Hmm.
But yes,
So fundamentally, the election went well.
it did. It
The
was incredible. My legs crumbled from underneath me. I cried. I just couldn't believe the overwhelming emotions that I was feeling, and it was amazing. I got testimonied straight after. I got anointed straight after, and then I got hauled down to the military council.
You were late at this
And got
point,
to
weren't you?
announce myself. Oh yeah, we were. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we were late by the time the first election started.
Oh,
But
rip.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. You've got important things to do. So yeah,
Like
we
get
went
the
down
job.
and we got started. It was very, very cool. It was very, very cool. On an OC note, it is just unbelievably cool that so many people were like, "Yeah, you seem legit. You can do the thing." And then I got to just go and do the thing, and it's amazing. It's affirming. It's confidence boosting. It's motivating. It just uplifts you to such an extent I can't even explain it. Like the amount of difference, like the world of difference that LARP itself has made on me just as a person anyway. And now to have something like this, like, I'm gonna get too big for my boots when it comes to the real world. I'll be like, do you know
Yeah.
who
Do
I
you know
am?
who
I'm
I
a
am? As
general.
you pull out a fake knife in a 7-Eleven demanding a cookie.
You and whose army? Well, actually,
I've got these orders.
here's my army. Oh, I
There's-
got to write my orders for the first time, but that's for later. That was really cool. But yeah, so that was awesome. It was really, really awesome. It was the basis of my whole weekend. And it was such a high start to the weekend. Not all good icy things, thinking of how, all of the stuff with Travid and Clay and the Hottest Maya stuff, but all good OC things. Like the role play was spectacular. It was unbelievable. Getting to say hi to the military council, many of whom I already have known, but actually sit on the bench and talk to them, it was real cool. it was a combination of a lot of things I've really, really wanted for a very long time. So yeah.
Fantastic.
I know. I've literally only covered Friday at this
I was
point.
going to say that, and so that was the first 2.5 hours.
That was, yeah. That literally only takes us up to about 9 o'clock
Yeah. So what was it
on the
like?
Friday.
Like actually, so you've been in military council before as an
Yeah.
adjutant, and now you're there on the literal on the bench. Um,
Yeah.
was it different?
Um. Yeah. I mean, it certainly it took a couple of moments, as in individual moments that happened rather than seconds. But it took a few moments to sort of adjust to it. I'm used to, leaning over to Brenos Owen, who I was the adjutant for previously, and suggesting something that then could be said. Um, but it's all kind of a blur now. Either I leant over and said it, or I can't remember if I've just put my hand up and said it. I'm pretty sure I leant over to him and said something, and he said just say it. So I did. I just put my hand up. But I might have imagined that bit, and that came at some other point. I can't remember. But yeah, I got to actually speak, and I did push myself to actually speak when I had things to say as much as possible. There were a few things that being adjutant had, given me, not like the knowledge, but just the experience of it having happened before. So I could say with confidence, like, oh, well, this thing or that thing,
Mhm.
and be involved in those discussions that, I'm used to seeing happen. Everyone was really patient. Loads of people were really kind about giving information that we might have missed. Every general in there, and indeed the non-generals, because there are a lot of people that attend military council that are not just the generals. There are adjutants, for one, of which anyone can have more than one if they want to. You can only have one appointed at a time, but you can pick whoever you want to from your little group of adjutants if you really want to. But there's also, there's the Imperial. Ooh, I'm gonna get this wrong. I want to say War Mage.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think
War
that's correct.
Mage.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's all sorts of very cool people in there, and they're all very, very invested in the game that they're playing, and they love it, and they really enthusiastic to share it. So it's awesome. Like, it's so nice to have that and be part of that. Everyone just wants to do good game. It's a very high RP environment. It's
mm,
all about character. You're not going to find people just slipping out of things. Everyone's invested in their character and what happens, and it's amazing to be part of. So
fantastic.
yeah, I'll run very quickly through. I'm pretty honestly, that's pretty much the bulk of what happened for my weekend, because Saturday I was in military council again, and I got to speak a few times. I got to meet a few of the other generals again. I'm still sort of working my way through meeting them bit by bit. Um, and we had
There was something major on Sunday I was going to ask you about. The
really what
uh,
was.
the ritual outside military
Oh
council tent.
yes.
That seemed pretty
Oh, I
important.
completely forgot about that. Yeah. Gosh, yeah. No, Sunday was really good. So the last sort of RP moments for me. I mean, there were RP moments the whole way through, but the last real RP moments. I've probably forgotten something on Saturday. I'm sorry if we had a great RP moment on Saturday and I've completely forgotten about it. It'll come to me later. I'll kick myself and I'll have a great time remembering it. But Sunday was intense. Yeah, I got to. First of all, I had to start writing my orders, which I was not prepared for. There were some PD admin issues, so that some things weren't written down on the paper that I was given to write on, but we worked around that. And then suddenly I had like 3 minutes left to write my orders because there were rituals happening. And one of the coolest things that I've seen so far, anyway, as a general, that can happen to you is you can be enchanted on behalf of your army. So the same way that a military unit captain, fleet captain, or even a forest and herb garden owner, I think that's how it works for them, can be enchanted to affect your resource. You do it to a general for their army. And Brenos and I, for Quiet Step and Isalla's Dance, got a very, very cool ritual, which made us very, very stabby, basically. It was a whole thing about seeing enemies, wanting to go and kill your enemies. I'm very much paraphrasing. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Misha, who was one, I believe, the instigator of the ritual. I don't really know how rituals work. I'm sorry, but certainly was giving the ritual to us. And who nearly drowned me in port. But it was great. It was very wonderful.
Oh, what a
I
thing
got
to
to
be
watch
drowned in.
Brenos went
Mm.
first. Oh, yeah, it was great. It was epic, you know? I mean, I was walking around with like what looked like bloodstains around my mouth for the rest of the last sort of hour of game time. But yeah, I watched Brenos' ritual. It was really intense. It was very tense. It was quite almost low key, but it was also really tense. Like I felt tense watching it. I got goosebumps at parts, definitely. And then it was my turn, and I was like, do a good job, do a good job. Everyone's watching, make this good for everybody else. Trying to make it like I've got to roleplay my character, but I also want to make sure I'm doing the right roleplay effects, but then also giving everybody a good experience because there's a lot of people gathered there at the same time. But hopefully, I pulled it off. It was fantastic. I neglected to tell anyone. Well, I didn't neglect her. I told a few strategic people that it had only been very recently that I discovered Clay's curse on Friday night,
Mm.
and Clay's curse was delivered by Brat Umbral Path.
Yep, it was.
Now, what I didn't know until afterwards was that it was delivered by Brat, but it wasn't Brat's curse. He had been given it by someone else or told to deliver it by someone
Yeah.
else, someone unknown.
I went and
But
threatened him with a knife after he did it
did you?
at the election. Yeah, because he jumped out. I was like, "You son of a bitch!" and ran after him. And I was like, "It's
Yeah.
legal." And I was like, "I don't give a shit. He's just cursed my friend." But but
Apparently,
then
he
yeah, he
told
was like, "I'm
himself
just
his
a
curse
messenger.
goes
I'm
as
just a
well.
messenger. You know,
Yeah.
either way, it's legal." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, it is legal, isn't it? I'm glad
Yeah.
you told me that."
Hmm.
Hmm, hmm.
But yeah, no, it was great. So I didn't realize that it wasn't him that had done it, but I was perfectly happy to roleplay this element of I know that the person literally walking around because he was also one of the principal people in the ritual. I was like, well, I know that this person has cursed my friend, and also you know who then lost the Blackthorns, but mostly the fact that he cursed him. Um, and I have several knives on me, as a good Thorn should. Um, so I managed to neglect to tell anyone that, and then immediately, as soon as the effects of the curse started, the ritual started hitting me, I managed to mumble out, "Keep Brat away from me. He needs to go away immediately." Poor Chris, who plays Brat, was very, very confused, and we've since talked about this. So I said, if I'd have had more time before the ritual, because I wasn't sure exactly when it was happened, I probably would have quietly spoken to him and said, "Is it okay if I stab you?" I didn't get that opportunity, so I was like, right, I'm probably not going to just randomly try and stab him. That was a bit far, especially because I think I genuinely could have managed to stab him before anyone would have stopped me.
That's
Because they
good that
just
you
wouldn't have
checked
been
in, though.
expecting it.
I mean,
Yeah, well, I didn't.
arguably, you know, it's
Well,
the
this is
act
the thing. I
first, ask
didn't get a
later
chance.
applies, but
No, but this is what I'm saying. I didn't get a chance to check in. If I had got a chance to check in, I would have asked him if I could stab him. But because I didn't get that opportunity, I was like, right, close my eyes. I'm gonna icy work on not stabbing him.
mhm.
So I got spirited away. Blah blah blah. All was fine. He came to find me later, OC, which was a really nice thing to do. Appreciate it. Yeah, and was like, "What? Is everything okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I no beef with you at all. It's just that I'd found out about this curse." And he went, "Oh, you should have stabbed me."
Yeah,
I was
my
like,
point was that you
"Yeah,
act
okay."
first, as in stab him up, and then you check in later and say, "By the way, no hard feelings." But
Yeah, I mean, you
yeah,
can do it whichever way around. I felt in the moment that it was better to do it this way,
yeah,
and also for
that is
role
ideal.
playing.
Yeah,
It worked the way it was. Next time I'll know. So I said this to him as well. I said, next time, don't worry, I'll stab you. We'll be good.
are you
Now I
saying to
know. Bless.
everybody listening that they have open license to assault you, and OC, you're fine with it?
You know what? If anybody's listening, I am always down for conflict roleplay. I am. I do appreciate it being something that actually comes from a good reason and makes sense. And have a really good reason for it, but then go for it. and just don't just shout endlessly. Make it interesting. It's role play. It's still a game. It's good fun. But as a general rule, yeah, I'm usually up for it. I might
Nice.
OC step aside and say, yeah, now is a bad time, but that's what we have the whole check-in system kind of thing for, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That's why we got. So yeah, that was me. Roleplay. 11,004 out of 10.
11,004. All right. I don't think I can quite top 11,004, but
Oh, sorry,
oh
before we move on, there was one final moment I want to.
no, go for it.
It
Go
was a
for it.
roleplay moment specifically, although it will come slightly under combat, which I think we'll race through in a minute. But it was after some shenanigans that happened. I had to walk up to Brenos and know that he had been immediately told about what I had definitely not wanted him to know about. Some rather. I will claim both OC and IC, they were not as risky as they may have seemed. But it was very it was just such a funny moment to be scolded and or vaguely threatened by Brenos again after the same thing happened last event. So I'm hoping I'm not going to make a habit of it.
Sorry, what was
But who
this?
knows?
Can you give us context? Risky
I'll give it.
endeavors?
Oh, it was the skirmish that I went on. Spoiler alert for when we get into combat. I went on a skirmish without any armor.
Oh, that. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I ran through the gate saying, "Don't tell Brenos."
Whee! As you cartwheel
Pretty
through.
much. Yeah, I was always going to be fine. Yeah, I was very aware of the.
I mean, you
On
were.
a mechanical sense, I was chunked up. Let's say I had the hit points to cover it,
Yeah.
from various potions and things, and I was very confident from a combat standpoint. But yeah, it was very amusing, and I was also like, it was a good role play moment as well, because it's always nice when someone who knows what they're doing and can be very scary. Owen, so you can be very scary. Um, is telling you off, and you can genuinely feel confident to just say, "Nah, but I was. It's all good. Like it's fine.
We
You
Gucci.
you got to trust me at some point that I know what I'm doing." So yeah, it's nice. It was a weekend of confidence.
Excellent. Ah, that's a nice little catchphrase.
Yeah,
Noting that down for the episode title.
a weekend of confidence. All right, go role play. Sorry, I hogged all the time. Not
That's all
sure if
right.
I hogged all the
I mean,
time for role play.
it's about you. I can cover mine and my hots and knots in more detail, but I'll. Uh,
This is about
oh
me?
no, about me.
No, you said it was about me. You said this is about you.
Yeah.
You did. Everyone going back.
No, I
This
agree.
is all.
I'm not neglecting that. I said, yeah, it is. It is mainly about you. I can touch on my
Okay.
stuff, but I can add to it in my own hots and
Yeah.
knots. Did my
So
brain
this
say
is my
something and my mouth just decide to go off script?
I think you contradicted yourself afterwards, but that's great. This is great news. This is my episode now.
Yeah, it
It's over
is.
for you.
Yeah. I've
It's
just been,
mine.
just like, I don't know, Bragasland or something. No, the Mornworld. I've just been invaded by a bunch of Imperials. Um, or one and their army in this case. But
Oh,
anyway,
I see.
on
Huh?
to non-combat roleplay. All right, so I play
As
Lindir
Lynn.
Thornheart now, who is a good
Yeah.
boy, who's no longer naive after some horrible things happened to him in Sarengrave, and but fundamentally
Oh,
still doesn't have such an active weekend as my former character Ban Shattersong did. As in, he
just the
doesn't.
way you say that. Ban Shattersong.
It's an angry
That's not a
person,
good
and he
boy.
deserves an angry name telling. But fundamentally, Linda doesn't have much to do at the moment, in all honesty. And it's actually quite nice. I have quiet weekends ahead of me, and I go on my battles, I chat with my friends, I go and do some errands, and it's very very wholesome, and I enjoy it so much. However,
You.
however, oh my goodness, that was the plan until about 9 p.m. Friday night. And so for
Yeah.
context, Lindir started on the Sunday of E2 after Banner died. Was I mean, I guess Saturday afternoon to be fair. And on the Sunday battle of E2, his life was saved by one Anwin Stormbroke, and the words "I owe you a beer" comes out. So
Ah,
we
that's where the
fast
beer's from.
It does, yeah. So we fast forward to E3 9 p.m. and we basically caught up OC to say, oh hey, I'll catch you at X time. We'll go get a drink, right?
Yeah.
Now on the field at this point is a sneaky little whisper gallery. Oh no, it's not a polyp because
It's
that's a
a
kind of
tulpa.
tumor. Tulpa, thank
Tulpa.
you, thank you. That, polyp is not the right word,
Not
but
something.
essentially, I was running back to camp, and it was dark, and this thing was outside our camp, just standing there, and I didn't think anything of it, or the ref standing next to them, because I was in a rush to get back. It's like shit, I'm late, and they said, "Oh, you got any secrets you could tell me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm late to get someone a drink." And then the ref goes, "Stop," and I'm like, "Oh, what have I done?" I'm like, "What do
Oh
you
no.
want?" I see the ref, and I'm like, "Oh no." So I get handed a little curse, and I read it, and the effect of that is everything about the secret and everything related to the secret that you've just told us, you can no longer remember. Now, because the entire fucking evening, I've been running around selling my resources to get some cash,
Oh,
basically, and some dinner and
too
stuff,
good.
and like I've been
Too good.
planning for this because I'm a good boy and I try hard, right? And I forgot everything. Absolutely everything. And I was like, oh shit, no. And one of our friends in Blackscar called Rifflin, he
Oh,
was there capering around and, did
he
insight on me and stuff. And I was like, no effect. Yeah, it was great fun to
he drew it into the camp.
through it.
Yeah, he like was like, come to this camp. It will be great. To the tulpa.
Oh, to the Tulpa. Okay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't there for that because obviously I forgot.
Although I should say, several of us managed to walk past it, and when it asked, say a polite no. No,
Yeah.
we will not be giving away secrets. So, who do we really have to blame?
The
Lindy.
Tulpa, obviously. If it wasn't there, I wouldn't be cursed, would I?
None
Anyway,
of us managed to be cursed. Actually,
anyway. IC, I'm like, well, I can't remember IC, I forgot, right? OC, I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. And so at this point, I make a point of wandering slowly past Anwin's camp, and they're like, oh, hey, Linda, you ready to get that drink? And I'm like, sorry, what? Do I know you? And this, in short, leads to a long, wonderful chain of events where I make a lot of new friends. I see, and I hope OC actually. They're a really nice bunch, and
we're
we
just
ended
at
up.
home going, damn that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, if any of them are listening, I'm just going to say the word rats and leave it there. It's an in joke. Anyway, the yeah, this long chain of events ends on Saturday afternoon. Um, After getting a variety of different spells and insights cast on me, and the end result is that I can't remember what was stolen, and I never will. However, I've got the opportunity to make new memories, which sounds like a really sugar-coated
That's
"fuck you"
so.
from
That's
this
like
from this curse.
you've learned a lesson. This is the moral of the story. You can make new memories.
Yeah, and I also have an enduring effect where essentially I occasionally see shapes out the in my peripheral vision that alarm me. However, when I look at them closer, they are mundane objects.
Oh yeah.
So when we went to Dawn, because what happened is after I solved that's called the major curse and the minor one sat underneath that is incurable for a year, great. Um, they thought it was the same curse, and I was trying to like I couldn't even hint I see, but like guys, it's fine. I'm cured. This is just the worst it gets. So they tried to cure me in Dawn, and Dawn has a lot of fluttering flags. So my head was like a lighthouse. It was just I was getting neck pain by the end, and they were like, "Oh my God, Linda's not okay." As he sort of jerks his way through the crowds. But yeah, that took up a lot of my weekend and was a lot of fun. And big shout out to the Thornfang striding because they were really fun to chill with and very pleasant. Um,
Much nicer than any of us have ever been.
yeah,
We'd have left you.
I also got to go. We went on a pub crawl, and I got to take them all to Uncle Regrezio's bar,
Ah,
and that was
yes.
very entertaining. And as a final note here, I finally got involved in songs and stories until the end. And there's a really cool
Oh,
song at the end where everyone pulls out their knives and stands close to the fire and starts to sort of hoist their weapons in the air and in beat with the music, and it's awesome, really good around 1 a.m. And yeah, or maybe 12. I can't quite remember, but it was awesome, absolutely awesome. So as a role play weekend, 10 out of 10.
amazing.
Lots of other
I know
pieces I've
that
left out.
obviously it's hard to come back out of a character that's so shall we say memorable as Ban, and to come back as a new character after all that
Yeah, Ban
is
was very min-maxed, minimal
yeah,
responsibility and maximum chaos. So
yeah,
yeah,
but also like a big deal to play and doing a lot of stuff. So to go from all of that kind of level of involvement in game to like a whole new character, and to make it unique but also fun to play but also distinct, that's hard.
yeah, there was
But I bet you did it.
oh yeah, oh yeah, Ban was a win as a character, just like Pieface. But anyway, the with with Ban, the final thing that was pretty cool to watch is Lindir. This is why I keep my war paint on outside the battlefield as well, is just to differentiate me. Because when I put
Yeah.
my I left my war paint off on like Saturday afternoon for like a bit while I was
Hmm.
getting some food, and I put a bandana on to stop my bald head from burning. Someone came up to me and went, "Ban? Oh my God, you're Ban Shattersong," and started to run. And I was like, "No, no, I'm someone else, citizen." And I was like, "Oh God damn it!" The face is very recognizable, so I've got to differentiate it a fair bit.
You were in the paper.
Yeah, that was going to be my other point. Standing on Friday evening, I
Oh
snickering
yes.
away at the Inquiring Ink Cap's fantastic article, and on top of
Oh,
that,
it's so good.
Maseo, Edgestalker coming into the middle of the circle, saying, "Oh, I've taken on Ban Shattersong's debt and repaying Wains of Weirwood to the Grendel." And I'm sat there like, OC, this is hilarious, and IC, I'm like, why are they paying somebody else's debts who's already dead? And like, it's done as a nation thing, and I'm like, okay, but it's OC. I
You're
find it
sitting there trying not to get political.
yeah. I'm like, you know what, Chris, you're not involved in this. Just smile and eat a cookie. So I
Smile.
did.
Smile. Need a cookie.
I ate a lot of cake this weekend. It was awesome. But
Oh, I'm jealous.
yeah, watching
I'm a cake. I
OC,
had a lot of toasties, but that will be in the OC section.
a lot of
Toasties.
toasties. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Mm, they're really good.
Yeah. So
They fueled my entire weekend. There was still some Oathright things.
yeah, the Black Scars. If the criminal group
Black
known as the
Star
Black
Go
Scars could
journalism.
change their name, that would be great. Sincerely, the Black Scar
Yeah.
Thornborn. That was pretty cool.
Well, I don't know if that bit actually made it in the end, sadly, because we had to cut down for size. But yeah, we did Black Scar take on the Oathright, which was quite amusing fun. There was
Mm,
just a bunch of us writing articles for the Oathright because of some particularly slanderous articles that came out at T2.
yeah,
We had a great time doing it. I don't really know if there was any like result of that, but it was certainly good fun stuff to do.
yeah, a lot of fun.
And on the subject of ban Shattersong's debts, there was one element that I forgot, which is that I finally paid off a different one.
Oh,
That was something that happened at the very beginning of standing. I was supposed to be talking in standing on Saturday. It was important stuff. We're talking about the results of battles and whatnot. And I get to standing and I realize that actually I'm supposed to be being dragged away by the militia to go and talk about one of the band Shattersong debts, which I had discussed with a certain ex Fleet Master the night before.
Esteban!
Your biggest fan.
Oh, he's
But
got my
yeah, it
name
was.
in his. He's obviously just jealous.
He's copying
Of,
you, or
yeah.
are you copying him?
No, definitely not.
But either way, it was very amusing because the militia, apparently Esteban was very happy to come up to Navarre in order to talk about this thing. We were basically signing a contract, and then but the militia said no. So I walk all the way down to the militia in a great grump. Purely to sign one piece of paper and hand over a coin. That was literally what it was going to be. Get down there. There are 12 people outside the militia, all of them hired paid guards with weapons out. There's a smattering of orcs, there's some winter markers, they're from everywhere. large, most of them large, sort of male-looking characters.
Burly combat
I was
characters.
thinking they're like, what is happening? You know, it was me and the other remaining Shattersong, Farron. And we're not like geared for war. There's just
Sorry,
two of
me and
us.
the
You
other
know,
one.
the other remaining Shattersong,
Yeah.
the other living Shattersong, sir. And we walked up and we were like, this is ridiculous. They're all here because of the two of us. This is unbelievable. So the exaggerated rumors of how dangerous we were. I think they were expecting the whole of Black Scar to come or to retaliate, which, you know, fair enough that they thought that was going to happen. It did not. We sorted that out very quickly, and that was one thing off my list of things to do. But my God,
It's cool,
the
isn't it?
absolute outsized, out of proportion reaction from the militia to send that many for just two of us was hilarious.
Well, that's
It
the
was very,
thing.
very
If you
funny.
think about a bodyguard of 4 wasn't enough to stop one Shattersong, then it makes sense
Yeah,
that you need at
how
least
dangerous are the
8
rest?
to stop 2.
There's two of them now.
It reminds me of that
Well, I mean, I'm
joke.
a general. Got an army now, so
Yeah, it reminds me of that
I'm
joke.
not
You know, it's
threatening at all.
quite common. There's a lot of variants of, there's an army marching and someone yells from behind a hill. They send a soldier over, nothing. 2 soldiers,
Yeah.
nothing. 1,000, and they come back and say, "There's 2 of them, not 1." Um, basically that.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's
Like the
definitely
whole
no revenge plots from the well,
from the
uh,
Shatter songs.
not from the Shatter
We
songs,
would
no.
never. Oh,
Anyway,
I kid.
that caps out my non-combat roleplay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was good shit. It was a good time. We had a wonderful time. Right, quick combat.
quick. Oh, okay, all right then. So,
Well, it doesn't have to be that quick. Combat. Oh, let's start Saturday. There was no combat on Friday,
nope,
but
just
we fought on
Daddy
Saturday.
Travid getting angry. That
Yeah.
was more scarring than anything I saw in
I was
Sarengrave, man.
angry.
Oh, he hit the Songs and Storytime Circle fire pit with his book, and it's a big
Yeah.
dong, and it's like, "Shut up, all of you!" And
Oh, it was
like
so
Travid
good.
never raises his voice, and the
No, I've
circle
never seen
silent.
Martin OC raise his
Oh
voice
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. It was
I
it
didn't
was
realize he was capable.
stunning. It was amazing.
Yeah,
It was beautiful. It was mint. But yeah, all right. Saturday, we fought on Saturday.
we did indeed.
Yeah. How was your? Oh, you had a pretty good time.
So my combat involves the number 47, a didgeridoo,
Oh
and
yeah,
uh,
forgot about that.
and a variety of really nice things said to me, and I'll go through those in order. So, 47. Well, crikey, I need to say ban. Lindir, at his first summit in his first major battle, killed 46 Druge with his longbow.
It
Really
was
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, just
It was really cool.
firing shots off. I mean, by killing, I mean getting them killed, so downing them and watching them get ripped apart by Imperials. Awesome.
Hmm.
Um, doing a couple himself actually. This event, I got to 47. That is thanks to the Lances of Dawn because I've been on 46 as we sort of, we went. Basically, the battle was onto the main field and then into the woods and back out again. Got to do some really cool skirmishing, flanking, shooting, black ops kind of stuff behind enemy lines. You'll have to talk to the others, Matty, because there was one cool moment I snuck up behind an orc who was heckling Black Scar with a
No,
knife
I
in my
have heard
hand.
about this. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, well, basically, I
don't
just,
worry.
Arnold Schwarzenegger commando killed him and slunk off into the woods. So that was pretty rad. Um,
Incredible.
the big thing was though when we came back out the woods and the battle was kind of winding down, a couple of orc archers were essentially skirmishing the Dornish line and they were holding their ground. So I kind of run out from the Navari part of it and try and engage him. So he fires at me and I literally just squat, sort of bounce underneath the arrow and rise up again, fire and hit him in the side of the knee between his metal shin guards and metal skirt. and then he
No.
drops, and the Dornish run out like a pack of piranhas, panel beat this guy to the floor, and then I'm running over screaming, "He's mine! He's mine! I need one more to beat my record! I need one more to beat my record!" And the Dornish are in their, piranha state, but one of their
Yeah.
generals, I think, gets them all back in line, and I get up, and the orc is just giggling. He's having a great time, and I get my knife out and just, execute him off, and I'm like, "Thanks, buddy, you were the best." and there's like
Oh, that's why we
cheering.
do
This
it, isn't it? That kind of role play. So
Yeah,
good.
and this was in front of about 200 people, and there was just rounds of cheering and everything. It was fucking awesome. And
Yeah.
uh, and I got back to our lines. I think they're a newer member of Navarre, and I didn't get their name, and I don't know which striding they're in. But they came up to me and went, "You are a genuine inspiration on the battlefield," and I was like, "Oh, bro, that's so nice. Thank you,
You felt
Bashful."
the love.
Yeah, and I had a few other comments similar, like, "Oh, it's him. We'll be okay." Was one thing I overheard when
Yeah.
I turned up in the forest and that kind of stuff. Like Linda as a combat character is fucking awesome, and I love every
Yeah.
second. Final
Yeah.
part, didgeridoo. After this encounter with number 47, there are some other archers hiding behind some trees, and the didgeridoo player in Navarre, whoever you are, what an absolute unit. This player starts to like squat walk, like crouch walk, whilst playing a didgeridoo in front of the Navari lines, just taunting the Druge. So I kind of go next to him and copy the squat walk, and we just walk around, hunting them down at turtle speed, firing off a few shots and stuff, and it's absolutely hilarious. And it's like the best. It was just the best time. And at the end, we held up a Druge Physic, who was one of their captured slaves, and sort of held him at bow
Yeah.
point and went, "Give us your herbs, and we'll let you live." So he hands the stack over, and I'm like, "Cool, thanks." Didn't expect that to work. So I get this wodge of herbs, give half the
Nice.
didgeridoo geezer, and then off I trot. Very fun battle.
Into the wind.
Yeah, and the other brief highlight is that I got to fight a spring horror, who was
Oh yeah. So
a
what was that? What
gigantic
was that?
lobster crab. It wasn't Mr. Pinchy, but it was
Oh,
the big beetle. And 10 Navarre
yeah,
got on this
saw some
skirmish.
pictures recently. Yeah.
Yeah, 10
It
Navarre got
kind
on
of
that
looked a bit
skirmish.
like an Ettercap, but more.
It's like a mega cap, yeah.
Was it bigger?
Much bigger, like 8 foot,
Oh wow.
maybe 7 foot, but it was big, 6 foot wide, big claws. And I felt sorry for it because essentially this monster had infected a bunch of Druge. So when we
Yeah.
came through the gate, which was fucking awesome, because Anwin, I mentioned earlier, obviously
Mhm.
the Thornfang helped
Shout out
me
to
try to get
Anwar.
my memories back,
Mhm.
and ultimately failed, but we became friends. So there's a skirmish that the Thornfang were invited to lead, and I got on that with her as well. So as we
Mhm.
run out the gate, there's me, Anwin, and our new player Steve, and we're all like fully armored up, and we're running three abreast. And there's some awesome photos of it, and it looks sick. And I just remember running out and jogging into the woods with like, yeah, this is a real D&D squad right here, us three. We're gonna do this.
Mhm.
We're gonna be heroes, and it felt sick, like absolutely sick. Um, a lot of fun. Fight the infected Druge, who are kind of like all they do is scream, and it's actually quite scary. It's a tough fight, and then
Screaming on the battlefield is absolutely overpowered as
yeah,
a scare tactic. It's
yeah,
incredible how just that simple act of just screaming or shouting genuinely puts the intimidation into anyone. It doesn't matter who you are. You will probably take an instinctive like step back. It's
yeah.
incredible.
That I've got that in my notes actually for monstering. I'll talk about that
Hmm.
later, but yeah, Lobster, oh sorry, Mega Cap, spends about 5 minutes getting panel beaten by about 50 Imperial heroes in a big circle, and the poor thing
Oh
doesn't
god.
stand a chance, and then it dies. And then I pretended to scrape some of its crab like claw meat into my canteen. So Linda now has some like Spring Realm crab meat on him,
No
and it's
way.
it's tasty. It's quite good actually.
Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. You'll make it a delicacy.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other skirmishes I got on. There was one hostage rescue, which you got on, and I'm going to let you talk about it.
Is it because this is my moment? of not
Is
so glory. It was glory. I will. No, it was great.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Don't use that word.
yeah, no, it wasn't glorious. It was very smart and strategic. Um, yeah, I spent quite a lot of. Well, I'll go back to Saturday quickly in the morning because, as with E2, I got to do some high field command again, which is incredible. There's nothing like it. It's really, really awesome. Um, and I actually had a moment right at the very beginning of going through the gate where I got really panicky, just for about like 15 seconds. But I had Helak Kit, who was going to be on my flank, who was, asking what to do and whatnot. And I just walked up to him really quickly and I was like, I just need, like, can you just keep control of this for like the next 30 seconds while I get myself sorted? And that was it. I just got really into it after that point. But it was just so it's so nice to know that there are people around who are super willing to just, let that be a thing and have that moment not mean, okay, well, you've just lost command of the whole battle kind of thing. So that was really, really nice. The actual field command is always it's better and better. The more I do it, I feel more and more confident. Um, I do think that it's interesting, like the more I look at it, how different skill sets work to teach you how to be a good field commander in LARP, because I don't think it's the same skill set as being just a normal like commander of any kind of military in any kind of military capacity in the real world. Um, it's just not the same.
Yeah,
And I find that really encouraging because it means that I don't feel so behind when it comes to some of the people that I know. There are people in command who are in the real world in military command roles. So it's nice to feel like, oh yeah, you might know your stuff in the real world, but it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be any better than I am when it
yeah.
comes to, wrangling all these cats, basically.
Mm. And you do love your
So that's
cats.
always
You've got two
good.
lovely ones.
I do. I have lovely cats. They're wonderful. They're outside somewhere now, unfortunately, but yeah, love them to pieces. One of whom is definitely a Dornish cat, and the other one
Yeah,
speaking to
yeah,
Monica,
definitely.
probably. Yeah. But yeah, it's good. It does mean the one thing that I do miss is I miss fighting with you guys. Well, not you anymore, but the Black Star.
Did you ever miss me?
Because I was I cried for you. Shut up. You can't use any. That's my trump card all the time now. I cried for you. I cried for Bam. But no, it is a shame because I was just starting to feel like after Walk Longest Path and everything, I was really getting to grips with combat.
Yeah.
And with becoming general and also joining field command, and as I'll mention in a minute, joining the voluntary battle ref team, it does mean that my actual combat opportunities have basically scraped down to just the main combat. In the end, that wasn't what ended up happening. But yeah, it does mean you kind of sit down at behind the lines a little bit and get to instruct other people where to go, so to speak. But it was really good fun. It's nice to see it work. It's nice to make decisions that actually make a difference. Shout out to everybody at Team Gate. We punched through the gate in the end, and then I made the executive decision to hold it because, primarily, as both a player and a character, I've been through gates. As a player, I've been through that gate many a time. We've gone all the way through. We have not left anyone at the gate because it's not a fun job. And then we've had to fight our way all the way back out again. And it just makes things very, very long and tiring.
Mm.
And so, being the strategist that I am, I thought, well, why don't we just hold the gate? Especially because there were still skirmishing orcs out there. So I had a small force of Navarre who stuck with me. Massive shout out to all of you. It wasn't as much fun as perhaps going into the dicey, almost death situation in the forest. But
Mm.
did fantastically, did some fun stuff. There was the Navarre yo-yo that we created, which was fantastic. So essentially, you just run out, hit for a few minutes, just make a maximum of 2 or 3 hits on as many orcs as you can, and then run straight back in again, and you keep that gate. And we picked off their archer by just getting them to shoot us a lot and miss, which was fantastic. Tried to get rid of their healers so that they wouldn't be able to heal up, and we held that gate. At one point, we thought we were going to get pincered by the massive amount of orc reinforcements that hit you guys in the back in the forest,
Yeah.
which
Oh, that got
one
dicey.
it got dicey for you, but from my perspective, stood at that gate, we watched this huge unit of orcs run across the pathway and into the forests around where you were, and they vanished into that forest.
Yeah.
We saw a few of them, and then we start seeing Imperials coming out of the trees, and only Imperials. It was like there was something about it that was so cinematic, where just the trees just starting becoming like red and blue and gold and purple and all these colors and clank, and it was just like the Drush had just gone in there to die from our perspective. Now, obviously, it was much dicier in the forest, but it just looked amazing that we were like, oh my god, like that's this whole big, the Drush gone and hit them in the back. But at least, we were just very pleased that they hadn't turned around and come straight to us, because there was probably about 80 to 90 Druge that hit you guys in the back, and there were maybe 15 of us at the gate. We would have been dead immediately. We couldn't have gone over to the High Guard either, because there was another unit of Druge on the other side.
Mm.
It was Druge, wasn't it? Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Druge.
it was Juge. If
God,
it was a fun battle, it's always Juge.
or Yagara.
Oh, I mean, that's when
you
you're
know.
playing as them, but yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, so it was a really beautiful moment. And the first sweep, I've got to say, one of my all-time favorite memories is that first sweep. We were on Navarre, ended up on the left flank, going up through the copse, through the woods, up towards the gate. Everyone knows what it was, OC, that was on the forest bit on the left. And everyone was sort of thinking, what are we going to do? Where are we going? We're going up. And I can't even remember how it started, but the momentum that picked up. There weren't enough orcs to stop us, but they could have stopped us. And I believe a very similar force stopped the Imperials on Sunday. But for us,
It
it
melted.
just rolled. It
Yeah.
was amazing. All of Navarre just legged it, and everyone was moving fast. No one was hesitating. The impetus, the shouting, everyone was just raring to go, and just swept up this forest. The whole of Navarre in these groups. It was amazing, and a shout out to them as well. Dawn were coming up the outside as well at the same time, which is why we kept going as fast as we did. Because originally we were going to stop halfway and then we could see Dawn. So I just said, just keep going, go all the way, get out of the trees at the top. And Navarre did. And it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was just so good. You just rolled straight over them. It's what we talk about when we talk about combat tactics, is going through the enemy, not just stopping at the enemy. It's one of the things that gets talked about a lot when we talk about tactics, when it comes to LARP roleplay, and also just general military, whatever, if you're talking about that. And it's hard to do, because as a person, a human person facing another human person, whether they're in an orc mask or not, your instinct is to stop and fight them. You don't want your character to die, and you don't want to physically just barge through them, But it makes so much difference. It was beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. More of that. That was amazing. So that was Saturday morning. And then, I hung around the skirmish gate quite a lot in the afternoon, thinking to myself that I wouldn't go on any skirmishes. Yeah, and I wasn't going to. And then literally at the moment that this one skirmish had to go through, we found out that it was for 25 people, not 15 as previously thought. And no one nearby wanted to go on it. We managed to get a few people, but there was still like one more space.
I was there.
In fact, there wasn't. There was one more person who joined, and I was thinking, should I join it? No. Should I? No. Don't have any armor on. I've only got my leg greaves on. I don't even have a weapon. I was like, no. If someone had a spear, and then someone nearby, I don't know their character name, but I believe High Guard, who has long red hair, and does a lot of the skirmish reporting up at the skirmish gate.
Oh, is that long hair Mook? Give me your spear now.
It is now in your naming conventions of people. But she, I believe it's she, sorry if not, was like, oh yeah, I've got a spear in my tent right here. And I was like, oh no, don't say that. Oh no, here we go. Now how am I going to say no? And Greg, who plays Gwillem, was in the thing going, well, I've only got 2 hit points. If you've got more hit points than me, you're probably better off going. And I went, oh, I do have more hit points than you do. Oh my gosh, this is a terrible yet fantastic idea. It was only a short skirmish. You know, I knew everybody on it. A lot of very competent people were on it, both healers and fighters. You know, I was not in the remotest bit worried that I wouldn't come back. In the end, the skirmish itself had some dicey moments because we got strung out quite a lot, but we did as much as we could. I didn't even go down with the hits that I took. I didn't take enough hits to go down because I still had potions and things. Other people went down, such as Quinn, and I got the delight of being the one to pick Quinn up for once, since he spent probably the majority of E2 battles, at least, healing me constantly. So that was fun. But yeah, it was good fun to do it. It was a bit of a shenanigan. I got to do some combat, which was really nice. And yeah, like I said, I was never in any danger, and it was also a bit of fun for the roleplay for everyone to go, "What are you doing?" and just run around in my essentially just my summer clothes with a big spear.
Nice.
Good fun times. Yeah.
When we were queuing up for that particular skirmish, I remember seeing you sort of hustling around. I was like, "Come on, you can do it, I believe." And it was when you came on, I was like, "Yeah, I've got me."
I
But
ran up right at the back and I ran straight to the front of the queue as you went through the gate. And I can't remember who was next to me, just went, "What are you doing?" I think it might have been Lottie, but it was very, very funny.
yeah, I,
Worth it. Hashtag worth it.
I think I got at the end. I think Willen actually came up to me and said, "Chris, you know, my favorite comment of the weekend was I'm going to say it, but it happened in this queue. It's when Jockle, Tent Ripper, we mentioned earlier, turned around to me and went, 'Lindy, you haven't got any armor on. What are you doing on this?' And I looked at my longbow and I went, 'Well, I've got 30 pounds of fuck you.'" and just it just how quickly it happened as well, because it's a 30-pound longbow, and like
Well,
Willen just
didn't you manage to get a great comeback on Justin,
on
who
hack. Oh
plays
yeah,
Hacken?
we were heckling
Your
each
wit was
other.
pretty on there.
Yeah, we were heckling each other in the Blackthorns election, and he went blah 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 blah, and I went, "Oh, double the volume but half the wisdom." He looked me dead in the eye and went, "Fuck you." And then later he came up to me and was like, "I need to buy you a drink because earlier you just got me and I had nothing good to retort with." And it was again a lovely Lindeer moment, many of them. But yeah, that was pretty good.
He's got some wit to him, yeah.
Yeah.
More wit, less fight, I'd say. Like with Ban, everything was like gonna turn into a fight. Everyone kind of likes Lindeer, so when he says something like sharp, you're like, "Oh, fine, it's a good one."
Like, okay, fair play.
You can have that one. Also, it was brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I've
then
always enjoyed
Sunday.
Justin's interactions. But yeah, Sunday.
Yeah,
Battle
shout
Ref,
out to
tell
Justin.
me more.
He's great. Oh, I did do. There was quite a lot of shouting that I ended up doing with Hacken because he was one of the people shouting about Hottest Maya a lot.
Yeah,
But
not a happy bunny.
I hope he knows there's no hard feelings. There's never hard feelings. It's all good banter, good role play. I know he knows what he's doing, so it's nice when you get to a point where you trust the players that you're playing with, like that you know what they're doing and that they know why they're doing it. You know, it's not just people doing things to be, you know, difficult or make something that they really want that you're not going to enjoy. Like it's people that really you can trust your game with, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. And there are a lot of good people like that I know in the VAR and also beyond. But yeah. All right, next one, shall we? Monstering, aka cherry picking, aka maneuvers.
Yes, so I guess I was thinking that being a ref would come into combat, but I suppose it is monstering for you, isn't it?
It is. Oh, it was the Sunday battle specifically, yeah.
Mm. All right.
It was
I
an
want to hear about the
experience.
tabard. Tell me more.
You want to hear about the tabard? It's great. It fits really well. It didn't actually. It was quite big, but it was good. It was really really cool. I had no idea really what to expect, apart from the fact that I've done quite a lot of combat at LARP now. So I mean, I've seen the refs walking around a lot, which does help. So I'll just preface this to say I was asked to join at the end of E2. I'm not the authority on how to join in specifically. I believe I'm not sure if it's invite only, if they like ask people that they know they trust, for example, or if it's more of a if you're interested, you can ask. But you could probably go to God or ask any actual ref about that if it was something that you were interested in, you wanted to know more. Because I don't know, I'm afraid. But yeah, I was asked at E2 if I wanted to try it this time round. And I did want to try it this time round. And I had a bloody good time. It wasn't fun in the way that monstering is fun. And monstering as Yagara specifically is really
Oh my
fun.
God, yeah.
I mean, I monstered as Yagara E2. Amazing. Best monstering I've ever done. I had such a good time. Um, but yeah, it was really satisfying. Like I really felt like I'd done a lot. I didn't feel like there were moments of just being bored. It was constant activity, which when you're a monster, you can get a lot of moments of being really, bored and not doing anything. Um, and sometimes it can feel quite slow. Other times it's really intense and tiring, and you want to just have a break. And I found like the battle ref for me really suited this kind of like thought heavy, but I didn't have to get too physically heavy.
Uh-huh.
That being said, I was supposed to join what we call the crush team, so to take care of
Winter
like
Mark.
when
Let's be real.
yeah, and any other groups that might happen to form donuts of death. Um, though yes, as we know, stereotypically that is Wintermark.
And it
But
also was in
I
this case. But
immediately, I think it was a mix this time round.
it
But
was all of
there were
them,
obviously,
but it started with Winter
yeah,
Mark. Like, but
yeah, it
apologies,
is
I'm
part of
interrupting,
their
but I'm
tactic.
salty.
It happens to be that they they like to do that a lot. They've got the shields for it. It's the thing. They've got the shields for it. But yes, so I joined that. I immediately got distracted because there was a whole section, a flank that sort of opened up with players. That there weren't really very many refs, so I just hovered around there and kept an eye on it. I had some players come up to me that needed, to sit down or to find something out. But mostly I was just watching for like rules. So I know the rules fairly well. We also had like a good briefing at the beginning. Um, and when I say I know the rules fairly well, I mean I know the rules. So hence why I was asked. But yeah, it was all good. It was really, really interesting. And one of the things that kept coming up that the other people were saying was it's a really good thing to do if you're going into field command as a player, because it's a really good chance to look at tactics and see what works and doesn't work from a very overhead
Mm.
perspective. And it was really interesting to see what the choices were that were made. Because when you're a monster, you can't see everything, but you also, I mean, you can't when you're a battle ref necessarily, but you get a really different perspective on it as a ref. So yeah, that was fascinating. So much fun, and I'm super down for it next time. Yeah, I'll be back to do that.
Nice.
Yeah,
Is
even
there
though
any
I'm
secret cult initiation that you have to do? Like,
I
you have to
couldn't
recite.
possibly tell you.
Oh, that means there is.
I couldn't possibly tell you that. What I can tell you though is that the hot tip I was given was to bring sunglasses and or a hat, and it was a great idea. Like it really helped to have my hat on the whole time.
Mm.
That's it. That's all I got. That's all
Nice.
you're allowed to know.
Yeah, you've got more, but us infantry only get told what we need to know.
No info for you. Yeah. So how was Yagara? Because I love
S-
them dearly. I do
Oh
love
my
the Yagara.
God. Like, I think this is my, so I think I might have said earlier, but it's worth saying again. This was my favorite LARP event ever.
Oh
And
my god, you didn't say that.
oh,
No.
I said it in my head again. Ah, damn it. Just oh, I enjoyed Linda so much, but the cherry on top was Yagara monstering. So I know there's no March of bullshit, and there wasn't really. But what made this really nice is that not being in an orc mask, like I've got my own, I don't mind it, but obviously I prefer to
Yeah,
fight
you
without.
know what? We've got the Yagara almost like largely because of the having the Orc Mask thing, but they're actually really fun to play. So like that's been a really kind of a weird positive to come out of the whole, COVID situation.
Yeah, and I've started.
Positive.
I like the Marchers a lot, and I've read their background lore, and I use bits of that for the Yagara, then mixed it in with what I understand from the Jotun bullet points that we get, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
blended it together into basically this. Uh, what's the not a mobster? Someone who whips up a mob. Rabble rouser. That's it. and
Oh,
my name was my name was unofficially Short John Silver because I'd lost my boat to the Imperials, and
right.
I was just
Oh
going
yeah,
around
because
in
these were Lasambrian Jotun Yagara, which
yeah,
are
that
not
like
necessarily
closer towards
other
the Bay of
Yagara.
Catazar, if I remember my geography
Yes, so they're going to
correctly.
be Imperials from the region rather than Imperials specifically. Yagara, this I did not know, which might be interesting to you, is that Yagara are not always exclusively marchers.
Oh, okay.
They are simply the human warriors who were thralls and have decided to fight with the Jotun, and that
Yes.
who what they come from is whichever region the Jotun are in, and the Jotun are in several regions. So
So
there are
yeah,
some
the
more Wintermarky ones. There are some more. I mean, Navarre is less likely, but
plausible in
because
Western the Atherton, but
I mean, it's plausible in terms of geography. It's less plausible in terms of how the Jotun and the Navarre interact.
yeah, but yeah, so that's Yara. But the like the ongoing campaign in the background at the moment, there's got I can't remember. Is it the Fishers who are?
Sandfish.
No,
Wait.
I think
Oh,
there's an
Matilda
old
Fisher, you mean?
Matilda Fisher, yeah, and
No, she's
her
not
household.
there. You're thinking of the Sarcom. Stephen Sarcom is the one down um in the Brass Coast, I believe.
Gotcha. But either way, like I think the highlighted Yagara have mainly been marchers recently, so that's why
Yeah.
Yagara and Marchery Yagara have kind of become synonymous. But anyway, the point was like I got to go on a battlefield and I just wore clothing, no armor. I had a bandana on, a white tunic, brown trousers, and a spear. And I was in a really giggly, funny mood. And
Oh, wait, did I tell you? I saw you guys at the beginning of the battle.
oh really?
There was a little group of
We're
you,
on the
and
front
it was
line.
all
Oh
members
yeah,
of
yeah.
Black Star. Yeah. And I was just standing, like, lining up, watching people come in onto the field. And I look to my right, and there's a group of Yagara starting to step forward because there's a scout. And I think you guys were clearly trying to go and taunt the scout because the scout was taunting you. And I looked and I went, "Oh my gosh, that's Chris." And then I looked at the rest of you, was like, "Yeah, that's Black Scar. There they are, right at the front, about to start some shenanigans." Fair enough. But yeah, sorry, carry on. I just remember that really vividly.
You were correct. That scout came up and we were like, "Come on, come closer, then." Oh yeah, yeah, you can do it. I think Luffy tries to rush him at one point, and we get
Oh,
pulled back into
Sparkle's
the
got that
line
as well, yeah.
because we realized how dead we were because all of us like we had very light armor on, and
Yeah.
we're basically just militia.
You
And
expect to get rolled a lot as Yagara.
yeah,
I think I rolled
we
three
became
or
a
four
death
times.
cult almost, and it actually worked because we didn't.
Wait, what?
It didn't work. It just we killed our way out of every scenario. So we were in the front line as Wintermark
Yeah.
clattered into us, but for some reason I cannot fathom, they split. So they didn't actually charge our section of the line. They split into
Oh,
two
they
little
went
columns.
around, yeah.
So I was like, all right, lads, let's exploit the gap and charge in. And us and this raggedy ass band of militia, mainly the Black Scar lot, go hurtling in, and we rip them a new one. We absolutely rip them a new one. And of course, we get some hits in, we get pushed back over the course of the battle, and
Yeah.
there's lots of lines, lots of crushes from from Wintermark as usual. And the highlight comes when there's a few highlights. The first is when at the start of the battle, or maybe about 5-10 minutes in, they start to gain a bit of ground, and Keelan gets his Jockle gets his leg cleaved, and he's
Mhm.
crawling away screaming from them, and so me and Ben are like, oh no, what have you done to him? What have you done to yelling at the Imperials, and it's
Yeah.
just his body's crawling away from the line, screaming for help. We can't get close because there's archers, and we're holding bandages. We're like, oh, how do we fix him? And, and they start taking pot shots at him, and they hit him in the chest, like in his back, and he's just on the floor screaming and rolling. It was some awesome role play. So like we find someone with a shield to run out with us. Then we try to
Yeah.
fix him, and the guy with the shield is like, how much longer have you got to go? And we go, oh, we don't have the physics skill. We just we don't know what we're doing. We're just
We're just here.
we're just here trying to bandage him up, and he's like screaming away. And it's like if anyone's ever seen the beginning scene of Saving Private Ryan, it's a very graphic scene, but there's one where the medic is trying to patch up a guy and sort of staunches the bleeding, and the casualty is
Mm.
shot again, and the medic, obviously very annoyed, just throws his bandages in the air and slams it in irritation, and it felt very much like that because we got to 30 seconds, realized, well, we knew anyway, but suddenly IC realized, oh, we can't stop it. Damn it, we're gonna have to leave him. And but luckily, we actually another unit came and supported us, so Jockle survived the entire battle. Um,
Wow, well done.
yeah. Second highlight is shoelaces. I'd heard a story from one of, let's say, one of band Shattersong's former gang contacts that
Huh.
his nickname was now Laces. Oh, by the way, Linda did get roped into a couple of what were OC robberies, but IC I had no idea over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
More on that another time. But he's called Shoelaces now. Why is that? Because one of the Druge on Saturday said, "Oi mate, your laces are untied." He looked down. His laces were not untied. And the Jews just, laughed at him. So we did the same to Wintermark, who went, "Oi, Red Cloak, yeah, your laces are untied." He looks down, they're not untied. He realizes he's been bamboozled. He just, when you roll your eyes and you shrug your arms, and his mates next to him are like, "Damn, they got you good." And of course, as Yagara, this is when the march of bullshit kicks in. We basically start to have a party. We go like, "Ah, yeah, we got you." We link arms and start to swing round and stuff like that, chanting, like
Uh,
hand gestures and everything. It was really fun. And then final point, I've got it as "oorah, oorah" chanting, and as the rabble rouser I was trying to be, uh, both times when we crushed Wintermark and the refs and your team had to step in, is
yeah.
when we started chanting "oorah, oorah" or "ho, ho," variants of
Oh,
those
yeah. The
guttural
Jotun
noises. And we
chants
started
at
that
the
up.
street.
It was me and Keelan, and we
Yeah.
got a whole line chanting it, and then we'd make a couple wild lunges at the winter mark, and because you've got
Yeah.
50 Yagara chanting at you, of course you step
Yeah.
backwards, and we gained about
Yeah.
20 meters of ground in total across three separate occasions. And
Wow.
considering we are, light infantry armed with pointy sticks and pajamas,
Yeah.
against heavily armored heroes of the mark,
Aggression.
it was hilarious.
Intimidation. It's OP.
Intimidation is
It's
the
fully
key, Bob.
intimidation is key. But
Yeah,
it is. It is. It makes so much difference. Like it's one of the biggest things that I've learned. It's just, when a line runs towards you and you just stop there and just shout back in their faces and push into an advance, it makes so much difference.
mm,
I think at E2, I think I held our lines just by standing there
yeah,
because it meant that other people wouldn't step back,
yeah, or
and it made
kneeling.
so much difference. Yeah, it just by being there and being someone to plant against, when you have someone who's not moving, and you have to have the authority to, not lose everybody behind you. Otherwise they'll just leave you there, which fair play. But it does make so much difference. Like, it's amazing just to be like, just stay where you are, stay where you are, and oh my god, suddenly they just can't get a grip because they don't want to run into you any more than you want to run into them, really, unless
Yeah,
they have the moment.
yeah,
And
hold
even
your
then,
ground. Often yelled,
hold.
but rarely applied.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why at E2, when I was first battle commanding, I was out on the front line so much. Sorry, not sorry to everybody who had to heal me so much.
No, it's fine. You lead by
It
example. Keep
works.
doing it.
It works, Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference because it's hard to, just from a human standpoint, it is hard to just stand there and not step back, especially when one person starts to step back, then everyone goes.
Yeah,
You know. So if you've got one person who, if you're ever in a line, if you're ever in a crush line, and you've got a force advancing in front of you, you got maybe 5 or 6 people, you think, well, we could hold that. They start stepping back. All you got to do, plant your feet. Plant your feet and charge forwards if you can. The door
yeah,
is counter-charge.
countercharge. Yeah, clatter into them because you're gonna die if
Yeah.
you're getting pressed into a kessel. You're going to die.
Yeah.
I think as an OC salty point,
Slow
I feel
retreat doesn't
like
make any
when the
difference.
refs step in and stop Wintermark getting crushed and then resume play, it's my gamey opinion that half of them should be on 0 hits to represent, a totally being kesseled and stabbed to death. and then for whatever reason being able to make some space again. Um, the fact that you can get away with fundamentally losing and then get away scot-free is, I think, a little bit hard to swallow. But then again,
Mm-hmm.
the game is about the players. But yeah, overall, Yagara,
Tell
15,
about it. You never know.
15.8 out of 10 for monstering.
Wow.
Loved it. It
Ooh.
was so. I think there's going to be a great photo of me, and as the
Yeah.
oh yeah, spoiler, the Empire lost this battle. They actually surrendered. And as they slunk off
Yeah.
the field, me and a couple of random Yagara just like screaming and shaking our fists and like, go home to your shitty houses. And there's a photographer just going click 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 in front of us.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a really cool image because I'm yelling
You.
loudly. Can't wait.
There's going to be images you can hear.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, good one. Good one. I know that I heard quite a lot afterwards that there were people being like, yeah, yeah, we won, woo, from the monster side, and then suddenly going, oh gosh, what have we done? What have we done to the Imperials? Because you do get swept up in that, like, you want to win as a monster, and then suddenly you realize that, oh shit, I've actually fucked us by being too good. But it's got to be that way. Otherwise, if there was an automatic win every time, it would be boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. It would.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Good
it
thing
would
the Agara are here to challenge the status
to
quo.
fuck up your day. Here to ruin your chance to do shit. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, good times. Right, what's the next one?
So we've got
Just OC.
we've got looking after ourselves OC slash overall OC. So do you want to ball them together
Yeah,
for the
how was
final
your?
5 minutes?
Yeah, I'll just in terms of like my OC experience of the weekend, very good. I enjoyed the food this time. I had so many tuna toasties, tuna melt toasties. I
Oh,
am obsessed with them. I'm still dreaming of them now. Like
where
I
from?
wish that they existed here. From the Jabberwocky in the by God in the
Oh
OC area.
yes, did we get those at E2?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those
those are lush. Yep.
I think like they aren't cheap compared to some of the other food options, but considering how little I managed to eat anyway and how good they are, and it's worth it. It's very much within my budget, and it is 100% worth the expense of paying for food and going all the way up to God. So good, so good. I had like 3 or 4 of them. I think I had multiple ones a day sometimes. They were just delicious. But yeah, that is one of my slightly lowers. I wasn't very good at like making sure I got fed. It's an ongoing struggle because I don't know about you. I feel like I kind of lose my appetite a bit when I'm at LARP. It's not that I'm forgetting to eat specifically, it's more that I just don't feel the hunger in the same way. But then
Mm.
I start snacking on little bits, which is good because it keeps my energy up. And then I'm not hungry for a big meal, so I don't eat a big meal. So then I have to keep snacking. And it kind of loops round and round a bit. So now knowing that I'm also going to be in military council tent a lot, like it was good because there were people that very kindly grabbed some food for me if I needed it. Brought me water and things. That's another thing. I really need a better icy water bottle to carry around. So I'd say my OC experience in terms of like the weekend, um, getting up on time, sleep was good. I didn't really drink anything, which it's usually the right choice for me, based on how I'm going to be the next morning. I felt pretty good. The heat was good. I can't really think of anything else, but yeah, food and stuff. I still need to figure out the right way to do it.
Mm.
So I'd give it a solid like 6 or 7 for the
Okay.
weekend in general. Yeah. Oh,
Fair.
big shout out to having the new portaloos.
Oh, they're lovely,
At
aren't they?
the bar. It makes such a difference
Yeah.
to not have to walk so far away. Like it was amazing. Fantastic news to have them there. And most of us didn't even notice them straight away. It was really weird.
They
They're
did
bright
appear. I was like,
blue,
what?
but they're bright blue. And
Yeah.
yet somehow I walked past them several times before clocking that they were there. Which, great, fantastic. Super happy about that. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Oh, shout out to the prosperity pricing, aka sorry, I very rarely have any money on me because I'm very broke. The squash on the road on the field camping of Navarre, because I walk past there all the time with a tankard and I still squash, and it is so good. It is so nice to just have it on the walk up and down. Thank you.
It took me a second there to realize squash to juice, as in squash, as in the vegetable.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they have
I
squash that you
just
can
ate
drink, you
just
know?
ate a whole fucking squash like an animal.
I just got a butternut squash. Why? I don't know. Someone was selling it. But yeah. Oh, and we have matcha food to look forward to next
Oh, we
time.
do. Oh, did you go to the
I'm actually
March
excited about this.
festival?
I didn't. No, I didn't get to
Oh,
it.
I won't talk about it then. You'll get
Sadly.
jealous and upset.
I will. I remember the first time I went, in my very first year of going. It was amazing. It was so much fun. And then I haven't managed to go since then. So I'm sad. But yeah, I hope you had a wonderful time.
Yeah,
What's
so
your
my
oh
general
and
OC.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, go on.
conflict. I was just gonna say conflict and like the OC experience of the elections and stuff. Very up and down, but generally more up than down. So yeah,
Fantastic.
that's it.
Cool. So my
You may now
weekend,
eat peasant.
generally like OC. Honestly, the whole thing was made by the March Festival. Like it was fucking awesome. There was hammer games, sponge throw,
Oh.
loads of pie. Sorry, I'm bullying you, but yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Overall OC. So I have my favorite event ever because almost
Mhm.
every single second of it was spent IC. Very little OC bleed. I say OC bleed, sorry,
Ooh,
OC
yeah.
slash bleedy stuff coming through. I felt like
Yeah.
Lindir. I made some
Oh,
friends, like the the Thorn Fang bunch are great. I went up the next weekend. They had a little like player event for themselves, and I got invited to it, which was really cool. And it was super awesome to
yeah.
hang out with them. And I would never have done that if I hadn't been cursed. So
Shout out to I thank you for my invitation as well. I'm sorry I couldn't come.
yeah, it was absolutely awesome, and
It sounded
loads of rat conversations. So
great. What is
yeah,
it with you and rats? I
hon-
swear.
honestly, rats are great, but we'll leave that for another
I'm
episode.
gonna get you a rat one day.
Oh my God, if I had a pet rat, I'd give it a little cape and it'd be so cute and I'd love it.
Where the cape come from? That was so prepared.
Yeah.
But I know what I'm gonna do with the rat. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put a
I
cape on
know what I'm doing. I'm a professional rat man. Um,
it.
yeah. Gosh, it's pretty hard to know. Oh, the big highlight. So first of all, overall OC, 10 out of 10. Had a I'd say 8 out of 10 because pack down was difficult. I tried to get away
Oh yeah.
early to go to America, and because I had so much of my kit was across so many people, getting it all back, people didn't stay to help too much as well, which is a
Yeah.
shame, but whatever. Um, yeah, that was a lot of strain for me, and I was very stressed. But that's the final 5 minutes of the weekend, not the whole thing.
Hmm.
And also the French Army ration pack. I
Oh,
so dear listeners, I enjoy eating IC as much as possible, but I often bring backup snacks just to have breakfast, so I've got the right amount of calories and energy for the day, instead of just living off one sugar high from cake. Now I went to a military surplus store. I talked about it in my bringing your friends to Anvil episode. Thoroughly recommend you go and get kit from there, but you can also get ration packs, and one 24-hour ration pack will do you fine for those moments you get
for a
back
whole
to
weekend?
camp. Pardon?
One pack for a whole weekend?
Yeah, because you supplement it with, your Moorish meals, the out of character
Mm.
traders, pies and stuff you get IC. But to cover your
Yeah.
breakfasts and just an occasional little lunch when you're exhausted after battle was really good. And because it's rat pack stuff, super compact, you just eat it, you've got enough energy to go, and it's quick and easy. And instead of having to queue for Moorish, basically, it replaced Moorish for me for the weekend.
I didn't go to Moorish once,
Oh,
which is very
nice.
unusual for me. Um,
Yeah, because I like
which
Moorish. I
I
like
like Moorish.
eating in
It's a
there.
place to sit. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but it takes a while.
very
It's an hour out of your weekend, and LARP
it
time is
is, yeah.
precious.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, you probably talked about it on your other episode. Spoiler alert: I haven't seen it. Sorry, rather listen to it. But do you specify what's in it? Because I don't really know anything about this. I just remember you talking about some weird French stuff and like opening a packet that was very, very odd looking.
No, I didn't go into the details of it, but basically any ration pack or rat pack, hence rats are coming up again, of course. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter what nation it's from. I got a French one because it was interesting, and having had
Hmm.
having had a lot of British ones in my past, this French one was better. It genuinely was better. It's quite tasty in places actually. and
But so what does it do? Like just like biscuits and things?
it's got biscuits, loads of isotonic drinks in there. It's got a little hexi burner so you can like heat up water because people
Oh
bring
wow!
pots and pans to the field. Yeah, you just
Wait, it's in a ration pack.
yeah, everything you need to cook and eat for 24 hours, including the cooker. It's good stuff. You get
Mm,
the hexi blocks. Obviously you need to light
right.
them, but
Yeah.
loads of people have lighters at LARP, and yeah, all the food can be eaten cold, or you can heat it up. You get loads of hot drinks, energy drinks inside you. There's usually some little snacks in there, like packs of nuts, chocolate bars. There's an
Yeah.
incredible amount of food in there. It's They're pretty awesome. They cost about 20,
Yeah.
30 quid, and can't recommend them enough. Of course, it's army rations, so like the flavor's not really going to be there, but it's not as bad as you'd think,
Mm-hmm. It's still a very cost-effective, energy-effective option.
and time effective. Yeah, all three of those,
Mm.
bang on.
Nice. Oh, maybe you'll have to show me a shop to buy them in before E4 then.
Yeah, we'll do.
We'll do a little rat pack shop, sorry.
A pack of rats going to get rat packs. Yeah.
And some rats in the rat packs.
Anyway, enough about
Sounds
rats. We've currently been going for. Do you want to guess the time?
I know what the time is, but I actually don't know what time we started.
So it's 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 31 seconds at the moment.
Oh god, I'm
So
so sorry.
no, don't apologise. It's good. I was actually going to say we've actually
I'm sorry.
covered off our 5 categories, and
We have.
shall we wrap it up there?
Yeah, I mean, overall, great event. Can't wait for the next one. Exhausted, but excited.
Only 3.5 weeks to go.
Oh god, what?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Hang
No.
on, let me
Are you
check.
serious?
Like 30%. Hang on, let me double check using data. Um,
Hey, it can't be.
so we've got next week, the week after,
No, it is.
and
Oh
then yeah,
my
so it's
word.
2.5 weeks. Yeah.
That's nothing. Oh, that's changed everything. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh man. Okay. Good. Noted. I've done other LARPs since then, so I've got really out of the loop of what time is.
Oh,
But
you do a
I
player
thought I had
event between them. Yeah, it makes it all go a lot quicker.
not a player event. No, I did
Oh, sorry, a LARP.
Oasis.
My bad. Yeah.
A different LARP, but I LARP. Very, very good event. But yeah, not Empire related, so I won't discuss it right now. 2.5 hours, you say? Or 2 hours?
2 hours, 11 minutes, and 49 seconds now.
Oh god. Well,
Anyway, well, thank you, dear listeners, for sticking with us.
yeah.
This is you can see this is actually the travel time it would take to get back to London from Dadford.
Yep.
So it's,
Plus to the services to go insane over some KFC.
oh God, right, I'll text you about that. We need to relive that moment. Oh, that was great.
We do. We'll get you back down. Either you'll go back down to London, or we'll make you do the drive just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Nostalgia's sake.
All right then.
Right.
Catch you all next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you in the field.